Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to today's edition of the Afridamus Report. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. All viewpoints are invited to this show, as long as you keep the language clean, because, as I said, this channel is an edutainment channel. This channel connects people that would have usually not connect with each other. Because you see, people like to generalize things, but when I, Afridamus, come here, broadcast and generalize things, you see, some people get upset. But you see, I have grounds to do that, because I don't know who I'm talking to, but whoever this message that I'm bringing out here, whoever needs to hear it will hear it. I don't know who it is. Oh, if anybody that thinks as a group, that group will also hear it. But today we're going to talk about a Kenyan woman, as she calls herself, a village woman who immigrated to the United States of America. Because, the United States of America is seen as the land of opportunity, and which rightfully so it is. Many people from all over the world come to the United States in search of that American dream. Some come as students, meaning seeking education. Some come as businessmen. Some are just dream seekers. They want to participate in that big economy so that they can get their piece of the American pie. And the American government is open to that challenge. It is a place where whatever skills you have, you can come and benefit from it. And people are doing it as long as you're willing to put the work in. You don't try to point the finger at other people, because mind you, when I say American dream, that means you have consciously sat there and think about how you would one day leave your village in Kenya and don't have to ever hear those goats. Oh, those black magic sorcerers. Oh, you don't want to hear about the village feud. You want to run all the way to America. And this is where the blacks have a point. Because you see, today when you listen to the video I am going to analyze here, as you guys know, I keep it real. Because I want people to learn. We're going to cover everything here. There is racism, tribalism, prostitution, sex trafficking, pimping, and Christianity, blaming, baby mama story, the whole 9 yards. Because I have always wondered, and we'll talk about strippers also, because all these jobs come into play. Today, you will learn how one end up finding themselves in that situation. How one find themselves in this situation. And you would also learn how one come to America, the process they take, what, when you don't take responsibility, what happens, your decisions. Because you see, if you leave the village, right, that means you have a lot more freedom. No one is there to tell you what to do. No one tells you that. You are on your own. Whatever you do, however way it pays off, is on you. The people back in Africa, once you make it to America, many of them, they want to rely on you. Now, you are their dream. So they pressure you to do what they themselves are not even willing to do to help lift themselves out of whatever poverty they cry of. I told you guys time and time again, when many people make those excuses, your life is your life. You have one life to live. Everybody have one life to live. Every day when you wake up, you have 86,000 seconds on the clock. That's for everybody. What you do with it is on you. How you spend it is on you. Imagine if that was in money, in dollars. In dollars. People will not care about how other people spend their money. They would be focused on how they are spending their money. So my point here is, I know some of you are lost about what I'm saying. My point is personal responsibility. So before we go deep in, I'm going to do the disclaimer, because we're using a video that this Kenyan woman, gave a candid interview of what her experience was like when she came to America until she got kicked out. This is the opposite of, you guys remember the one I did about the Black American woman in Nigeria, the one that was yelling at the Nigerian immigration. So this is the opposite. That the Black woman there, she did not get deported whatsoever. But this Kenyan woman, her own doings would eventually get her to the final point. So I don't want to keep you waiting. Let me start with the disclaimers and show you my beautiful travel here. Here we go. Thank you very much, guys. The reason why, I played this, beautiful compilation of my travel, this is just a part of it. It's to show that some people's dream do come true, This is my dream. So, and this dream was also cooked and it was formulated in Africa, but, deployed in the United States to show you contrast of two people. So let me do the disclaimer and then we get into the video here. Here we go. All right, that's the, disclaimer for the copyright. You got to do that when you're using people's video. MC, welcome in the house. Thank you for coming in. MC Rasmois, welcome.
Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up. What's the problem? I'm pulled up. Big flex, my swole up. Hard body, they fold up. Shawty say I done glowed up. Double text on my phone up. Fuck with your boy, I'm the man of the year. I'm not a...
All right. Okay, now let's get into the video. Wasn't that a good song? That's the national anthem here for the show. If you've been watching, you've seen it. It never gets old. It's beautiful. But here we go. So today, this is, like I said, a Kenyan woman that immigrated to the United States of America. Now, we're going to listen to the interview, and I would break it down fairly. And we are going to learn a whole lot of things together because you see, most of the topics that I have covered here, people, you will see all that play out. You see, when I come here and talk about things, some people say, oh, Afridamus, you're being harsh. That's fine. But they cannot call me a liar because the things I talk about, you cannot dispute it. You guys have seen, I know today this is not about the Nigerians, but you've seen they've come and express how upset they are about my coverage. But one thing they cannot accuse me of, saying I'm just making up stories. They just say I am not fair. And it's not about being fair or not. I'm just here to present you what is recorded. And I break it down. So today we are over in Kenya. And I'm going to connect most of you that don't know about village life. I will connect you on village feuds, the type of things villagers fight about, how villages conquer their disputes, like, how they have ancient hatreds for each other, black magic and all that. Because see, there's a difference between, like, when somebody's from a village in Africa, straight from the village, they come to America. There's a difference between them and someone who's from, let's say, a city. Like if somebody comes from Nairobi, let's say, they come to America, most things they will see they will be familiar with. They will know about a lot of stuff because they've seen it before. But a village is a whole different ballgame. And you're about to find out for yourself. I'm not making this up, but here we go. Let's start. And I would allow the woman to talk, for some time, and then I would break down what she's saying. Here we go.
America and you are going through something hard because people at home, they want you to send them money. So you want to keep up sending money, even if you are stripping naked, to send people money. You just want to send people money. Every time you have to go to court, you have to strip, they strip you naked, and you have to spread your vagina. Every single time you come from court again, you strip naked, because there are people who are hiding drugs inside their private parts. So that is like something that is so humiliating, because you have to do it in front of everybody, in front of the police. They have to search you. They even have a spotlight.
So for some of you that are watching, even because most Africans that immigrate to America, most of them, they can't even imagine this life, what she is saying. They can't even, some of them would say, no African would ever engage in these things. But you see, when people come, they try to dramatize the story as in there, you're like, oh, this person is the victim, how mean these Americans are. But you see, in jails, prison, that's the rule. They have to strip you naked. But something gets you to that place. She is going to tell us. Is it going to be her own doing, or is it going to be the hand of the evil white supremacists? Oh, is it going to be the hand of the blacks? Oh, she is going to adapt, the blacks, associate her thinking with the blacks that have victim mentality. Because you see, there are Africans that do that. They pretend to use the blacks as the marker. But when they do that, deep down into the conversation, you will find out why. And I am going to break that down here as well. And in the opposite too, the blacks do it. They will say, oh, the white supremacists were messed up for colonizing Africa. Meaning they want you to connect. But that's not the topic here today. But we'll get there.
I do. I honestly never knew that I would be the one who lived to tell my own story. I honestly believed I would die in America. Even in my head, I would plan my funeral. I would see my body being transported home. And I would tell people in Mama Ngina, I used to be in America. People would be like, you're lying, no way. Because in Mama Ngina, I didn't even have 10 shillings to buy a banana. I would my rent was, I was sharing a bedsitter for 800 shillings with somebody. But I couldn't even come up with the 400 shillings in a month to pay my share of the rent. I didn't even have food, and I'm from America.
So she's repeating when she went back to Kenya, how shocked people were at how poor she was, and she was from America. You notice she keep repeating it herself. But this mentality that most Africans do have, is it only enough to just come to America and just say, I'm in America and everything is good without even putting in work? Hey, America is cool. It's got opportunity and all, but you got to work for that. It doesn't just fall in your lap. My point is, if you didn't do the work in America, you were poor in America, you were broke in America, guess what? It would be the same fate in Kenya, Namibia, Tanzania, in space, unless you flip it around and realize, okay, I'm going to do the work. When you do the work in America, you will get rewarded. When you do the work in Kenya, you will get rewarded. Mind you, this is past tense, right? But for most, it would be a current thing because there are people thinking this way. So I commend her for telling her story, for giving me the opportunity to analyze the story, because I tell these stories to people that it would possibly wake them up. It would help someone who is probably thinking about this type of, somebody who thinks this way. This would help reshape their thinking, because sometimes for some people, they have to see the person that whatever the the stories, the person that actually it happened to, the people that live the life, they want to hear from those people. So she's giving us that opportunity. So let's allow her to keep going. It's not about criticizing her. I want people to understand this. Like Kenyan by marriage said, 400 shillings is less than $4. Imagine that, people. So she didn't even have $4 American. So, and sometimes, most of the time, you would hear people, they would make statements like, oh, Africans don't come to America because, it's not going to happen for Africans. No, just tell us your story. Your story. Don't say that's what it is for everyone. Tell your story, and that might help someone. But if you make certain decisions and you didn't like the outcome of these decisions, and now all of a sudden you think that's what everyone's life is, that is misleading, because not everyone is going to walk your walk. So that's what education is. But let's learn what Marcy Artist, that's her name, what her life was like in the great United States of America, the greatest country on this side of heaven. Here we go. And by the way, she is going to be using lots of terms that even Americans themselves do not use. I've heard people like her use those terms, like they would say, the land of milk and honey. This is a statement from like Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King wasn't talking about the physical America. When he's talking about the land of milk and honey, he's talking about in the kingdom of God, as in spiritual realm. But many are so fixated on the material, they cannot see beyond that. So every statement is tied to those physical, material things. And when you chase those, what happens? You end up in the kingdom of the devil. That's where you get consumed by the machine of the devil. And that's what's happening to this woman. And you will see this in her story. It is not America. Like America, you can be anything you want. They really mean it. I mean, shit, you could wake up tomorrow and say you feel like a girl, even though you're a man, and they would accept it. You see? So that my point is, they give you the freedom to cultivate your own life. There is many encouragement for you to fail, but it's up to you to keep pushing.
So there are some people who still believe right now in 2021 that going to the US is the best thing that can ever happen to their lives. And they just think that if you go to the US, then you're definitely going to be, somebody big, and there will be no more sorrows, no more worries, no more struggles, no more suffering, no more pain. Like, it's the land of opportunity flowing with milk and honey. And I'm not trying to discourage you by any means. I just want to tell you that when you first arrive in the US, there is that excitement. And then
So she is telling us her dream, her perception of America, and rightfully so. There are many Africans that think just like her. They think it's just enough, as long as, oh yeah, you just go to America and that's that. It doesn't matter which year it is. I mean, as long as it's not in the 1860s. Back then, you might not want to travel to America as an African, if you know what I mean. But in this day and age, there is no better time for you to come to America than these times. But you have to have a plan that you're going to stick with, and you have to be willing to work on that plan. But if those same plans, you can walk those plans wherever you happen to be in. I thoroughly believe in that. Is it going to be harder in some environments than others? Absolutely. I'm not saying it isn't. I understand. But now, this woman is telling us how she thought she saw America. And it's interesting the way she put it, because obviously now she's in Kenya and she's having conversation with people, and she's running into people that thought like her before she came to America. But now her attitude about America becomes negative. Let's find out.
And reality very quickly sets in. For me, when I was on the aeroplane, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to bring all my family to America, and I will never come back to Kenya. I honestly thought I would never ever come back to Kenya, and I will never board a matatu again. I will never get on a motorbike, and I'm going to drive a big car. I'm going to get married to a white man. And the very first culture shock happens in the aeroplane, right in the aeroplane, even before I arrive, because everything they're serving me with, I've never seen it. I was in Fly Emirates with, it's an Arabian airline.
So I want you guys to remember, she told us what her dream was. She wouldn't have to ride a matatu. I think that's one of those bikes, right? She wouldn't have to ride in those. She's going to drive a big car, and she would find a white man and marry a white man. I want you guys to remember these dreams, because you see, they said, be careful what you put out in the air. See, whatever is on people's mind, right? Their dreams, they would act upon it at some point. That's why they said, be careful what you keep thinking about. Be careful, about your thoughts. So let's hear this out. She's told us all her plans. Let's see if she's going to act on them. And some are going to come here and watch some of those FBA types. I want you to please open your mind, so you learn and understand, like, the different people you run into have different perceptions and ideas about America. It's not like a general African thing. Her thinking is, the roots of it is from the African thinking, but we are going to find out that not many Africans act this way. But we would see certain behavior that is associated with people from that region as well. And I would point that out. Like she said, her dream is to marry the white man. So that explains, I've seen many Kenyan women out here, mostly when I see white couple and a black female African, 9 out of 10, they are Kenyan or Ugandan. So usually generally it's not West African. That's very rare from what I've noticed. So that's her dream. So let's go.
And the first culture shock is like, what is this? I've never seen it before. And so I just had to travel hungry the whole time. So hunger is the very first culture shock I was served, I don't even remember what it was, but there was nothing that I was familiar with at all. Okay, so a little background into myself and a little story of how I ended up even going to the US. This was always a dream, and it was a dream of my father. You know, I've never said before that my father was a polygamous man, and he had 2 wives, and you know, they lived in one home, and there was a lot of you know, just one man with 2 wives living in one home. There was a lot of jealousy, a lot of back and forth, and my mom was the second wife, and the first wife always mocked my mom, saying, all your kids are going to America, all your kids are going to America, and my kids are just staying in Kenya, my kids are paying their school fees. So I used to say when I was a little child that I will be the first one to go to America. How come she's telling my mom that all my siblings are going to America and none of my siblings has ever gone to America?
Guys, that's village feud. Yeah, in the villages, people would have beef about fantasies like this, you know. Proud Eritrean said the Somalis too, just ask just not just Kenyan and Ugandan. Oh, okay, yeah. So okay, the Somalis as well. Okay. I mean, I guess, yeah, Ilhan Omar, that explains it. But this woman right here, she's told us everything that we need to know about her. You know, her background is very, very interesting. So from the time she was a child, it sounds like, you know, the America thing, you know, was drilled in her head. So it became a chip on her shoulder. A chip on her shoulder. So even though it wasn't based in reality, she internalized it. And sometimes that can be detrimental. Here we go.
So from a very young child, I used to say whenever my mom was insulted, I would be like, okay, this is America, I'm the first one who will go there. Right, so those childhood fantasies, yeah, there was already something that I was looking forward to. And I knew that in America, there is no more suffering, maybe there's no death, there's no sorrow. Everything is perfect, like it's heaven, you know? That's what I thought. During high school, something happened, like my mom died when I was in high school in Form 3. And when my mom died, my world turned upside down. And I remember going to the funeral and crying so hard and saying, I'm left with nobody who cares. Because growing up with my mom, you know, in Luo culture, they have so many beliefs, especially in Alego, where I come from. They have so many beliefs about witchcraft and all that thing.
So in most of these, most African village culture, they believe in witchcraft. So somebody cannot just die, even though they say God is in charge. They will have to attach some type of black magic, witchcraft to it. So that's what she's explaining. Sounds like in her village, like many other little African villages you find, where the people believe in witchcraft. So that's what she's explaining. Even though they're Christians, but they also believe in witchcraft. Here we go.
So when my mom died, I just felt like my whole world had come to an end. So I left the village, and after burying my mom, in fact, I was just rushed. I went the day before burial, and after burial, I was taken back to school. I didn't even have time to mourn or to grieve for my mom. So I was taken back to high school. In Form 3, I was doing exams for index numbers. And when I finished high school, my brother was like, you can't go back to that village. You know, Alego people, they are full of witchcraft. We don't want anything to happen to you. And at that time, he was a student at University of Eastern.
So for Black people that are listening, so this is the equivalent to, you know, like they are telling her, because she just made, you know, supposedly, you know, they live in Southside Chicago, for example, right? So the auntie pulled a drive-by that killed her mama. I'm just giving you a scenario. So now she made it out of the hood. Her brother made it out of the hood. Now her brother is out of that mess. Now they are telling her, don't go back there because you might get shot too. But this is in the, black magic sense. So in the black hoods, you get shot physically with the gun. In the African village, they do the black magic. But this is very interesting, isn't it? I told you guys, listen to it with an open mind. You will learn things that, you've never even thought about. I mean, think about, have you ever thought about how do, because when you look at these African villages, it look like the people are just loving and, everyone is smiling. But come on, we're human beings. There has to be an underlying beef. And those beefs have to be settled somehow, So it has to be physical or spiritual. So that's the spiritual part, because you can't just roll by and pull a drive-by. So they gotta go to the sorcerer, break a chicken's foot and you're gone. I mean, that's what I heard.
Africa, Baraton. So he says, you have to come and stay with me, live with me in Baraton University. He was also a student, just struggling. Baraton school fees is very, very high. And he just wanted to take me under his wings and protect me. So I was really happy to go stay with my brother. I was really, really happy to go to Baraton University, not as a student, but to stay with him. And just one day he said he has headache. And he was taken to the hospital inside the university. And then they referred him to my referral in Eldoret. And this was just 2 months after I finished high school. And at my referral, I remember I spoke with him on a Saturday night and he was fine. And Sunday morning, he was dead. Yeah. Something also that is very tricky, because the last people who saw him before his death were my stepfamily.
Bingo. You see what I was telling you? So the same brother that told her, don't go over there, there's witchcraft. So she's telling us he died suddenly. But like in forensics files, when someone dies, the FBI, when they are doing the investigation, they gotta ask who were the last people they were seen with. So she said the step parents. You see, the case has been built up here in the black magic world. I'm just telling you how it's formulated. They don't have to come outright and say it, but the way the story is being told, meaning those people are the suspects of the black magic.
And my stepfamily works in that hospital, as a nurse. So there are also some unanswered questions about my brother's death. And after he died very suddenly, I remember even the day of his burial, there was a fight in my home, in my village. The day that my brother, so I didn't go. I went home last when my brother died. I remember as they were bringing my brother's body home, my older sister started crying and was like, you said he will come back with a red flag. Okay, the red flag is here. Are you happy? And I remember
Man, was this village Southside Chicago fighting at the funeral? This type of fights only happen at Southside Chicago funerals, or, one of those hood funerals. But in the Kenyan Village, and guys, it's not like the village is toxic. They are being accused of black magic people. That's like the village being accused of drive-by shootings. How many bodies? Since I started this topic here, think about it. I haven't even gone that far. How many bodies have already been dropped? So she's coming from a tough spot. Isn't this story almost like a female that you meet. Sounds like most strippers you meet. You know, some would say their name is Alize. Like you meet Alize, they always have a story of how they overcame their past in the hood. Everybody died except her. It always goes like that, right? But I didn't know this type of stories usually come out of the village. For a moment here, when she said fight, I said, hold on. I was going to just let the tape run, but I can't just let that go like that. I was like, what? Fighting at the funeral? What could they possibly be fighting about? I'm not judging her. I'm just pointing it out. You know, you're thinking, right? But I've learned something here that, you know, in some villages at funerals, they fight. This is not only in Southside Chicago. Here we go.
My step family attacking my family. And then the university students just jumping in, and there was like a big physical fight.
Now, I've seen it in Nigerian movies too. I heard they fight at funerals as well. Are you surprised by that?
On the day that my brother's body was brought home. And so after my brother's burial, my family was like, you can't go to Baraton, because if you go to Baraton, you are going to die too. The people who killed your brother, you know, the people who killed my brother, they are going to kill me too. Because my brother was so young. What was amazing was, you know, the love. You would think on his funeral that they were burying a prime minister or something, because people came from Nairobi, from Kisumu, from all.
Guys, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, Afridamus, you're being ridiculous. Isn't this sounding more and more like a hood funeral? She said the word, the people that killed. Here we go. You see, EYB Entertainment is even confused. Say, Afridamus, was this in America or Kenya? Exactly. EYB, that's my point. See, if I didn't have this tape here, some of you would have been like, oh, here we go again. Afridamus acting like, talking about making up stories in Kenya, in a Kenyan village. And then he's like, that's like Southside Chicago. She said the people that killed her brother, people were coming from all over other hoods, you know, in the burial. It's like a prime minister. Isn't that how it is in hood funerals? And there was a fight as well. And there was a fight. I mean, like, I'm learning so much here myself. Because you see, the part of Africa where I come from, like the people, we would be, in Gambia, we would be so shocked hearing this story. Because it doesn't go down like that. I'm telling you. But look, I'm not shocked about it because I'm familiar with it happening in the hoods. No, EYB, this is in Kenya, in a village. This is not in America. It is not in America. This is in the village. So the beefs are not just regular beefs. Bodies are dropping. But, well, I'm wondering, so the mom is dead by witchcraft? Now the brother, man, I hope she'll be okay. But let's find out.
All over, from Sierra, like from all over the country. And the students also came like in large numbers. And it was amazing because he was just 23, you know, and already so much love. I always wonder what would have happened if he was still alive. I always wonder, because he was the one who was like really strong. So after my brother's death, I saw no future. I thought it was the end, you know. When my mom died, I thought it was the end of life. But I remember at my mom's funeral, my brother said, you're a Christian, you should not lose hope. You know, you are going to see your mother again. There will be a resurrection.
You guys remember in the beginning, I told you, Christianity is going to come into it. It's not only going to be black magic. Because, you see, when people, I knew, you know, at some point, when they say witchcraft, And the other flip coin of it is going to be Christianity or Islam for some. So the African side that has spoken, and now this is the Christian side. So for those of you that say traditional African religion, well, she just explained the witchcraft in the village. That's how it is practiced. She has not explained anything that is elevating and uplifting about quote unquote this power in the witchcraft. Isn't it amazing how the witchcraft there in those villages seem to only be able to kill people, cause damages? It can't even protect or help elevate the people. I mean, I'm just pointing out an observation through this interview that myself and those of you that are watching me listening to. Have you ever wondered about that? I have. And so, Afridamus, don't you dare challenge the African black magic. I'm not challenging. I'm just asking questions, for a friend who's been trying to know. Just asking. That's all. Let's continue.
And my brother was studying to be a pastor, and it's the same brother who is now dying, the one who was giving me hope and encouragement. So I'm like, what is the need of even believing in God? Because how can God take my mother and then take my brother, within a very short period of time, less than 2 years apart? And so I'm thinking there is no hope. So eventually I got a call from Baraton University. There was a lecturer there, also a white lecturer, actually African American, named Dr. Jordan. And he had talked with the school administration. So Dr. Jordan was my brother's employer. My brother used to weed flowers for her. And so he talked with the vice chancellor, who then was Professor Mutuku Mutinga. By the way, wherever he is, he was a really good vice chancellor for Baraton University, and he used to help a lot of students. So through whatever they did, I was able to be enrolled at the university. And during the time I was enrolled, my brother's friend named Peter Kosgei got to go to the United States. I don't know how he went, but Peter Kosgei was also a theology student at Baraton.
Meaning Christian student. So it sounds like now everything is making sense, because most Kenyans, as far as I remember, meeting in the United States, now everything is making sense. There's like some sort of connection to some Christian group. And, many seem to be around in the Midwest area, Midwest of the United States. So, there's like a Christian connection here. But let's listen more. So she's going to be Christian soon.
And when he went, he started to write me an email. He used to communicate with me through his wife first. And he used to say, Mercy, I want to help you. I want you to come to America. And I was like, yeah, America was already on my dream since childhood. So I was like, please, just bring me to America, even if I have to come and work as a maid. And he would be like, no, God did not create you to be a maid.
So remember this part. Her dream to come to America. She wanted to come so bad. She professed and spoke into the universe that she doesn't mind coming there and becoming a maid, right? Many of you, like you're mad when you shoot your shot. You aim low and you hit it, you end up getting mad. But she said she wants to come to America and do anything, meaning no plan. So let's continue. There are many people that think just like her. And rightfully so, they come to America. Things do not work out that way.
God has something better for you. And I didn't believe him. I was like, he doesn't understand. I just want out of Kenya. I just want out of all the struggles at home. I want out, and I want to get all my family out. So eventually he sent me some application forms, and I applied and I sent the applications, and one day they just called me and said, you have a letter. And it was the best letter I ever read, that I had a full scholarship to study in the US.
I want you guys to remember this part. She said she got a full scholarship. I'm guessing this is not from a HBCU, not from one of those black colleges. It sounds like one of those white Christian colleges, right? So I want you guys to remember this part. She says she got full scholarship, because this is going to be important, as we keep going.
My joy was beyond me. Just a broke student, in Baraton they have boarders and they scholars. So I remember just being really, 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 really happy. So I just started my course at Baraton University, and here I am getting an opportunity to go to America on a full scholarship. So you can imagine how happy I was. But I didn't even have bus fare to go to Nairobi from Eldoret. I eventually asked for some fare. I went to Nairobi, and in Nairobi, I'm looking for a passport. I'm looking for a way to go to the interview. I'm just looking for what to do with my admission letter. I have been admitted, but now what next?
So this woman, the universe answered her prayer. She's always wanted to come to America, and she didn't need to have any money. Somehow this dream is happening, right? She didn't have a passport. She is trying to figure it out, and she is going to figure it out. Let's see if the same attitude is going to continue all throughout.
So I was knocking and knocking and asking, and some people were like, I can't help you but go to this office. And this office would be like, I can't help you but go to this office. You can imagine I walked around so many government offices in Nairobi. Eventually, somebody directed me to go to the immigration office. So I went to the immigration office in Nairobi, and I met there a guy named Isaiah Otieno. And Isaiah talked with his boss. His boss then was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I believe that's correct, yeah. And so when he had me, so I just told him I got a scholarship to go to America, but I don't have a passport, I don't have a visa, I don't know what to do. And I told him briefly my history. My mom died. My dad was alive but very old. My mom was the second wife of my dad. So my dad is alive but he's very old and retired and he has no money. And I just need help. And I remember that he just held my hands. It was like...
She reminds me of one of those Africans you meet in the United States. Even if you say hello, they start telling you their story of their past. It's like, come on. Like, people really don't care about these stories. If it's a sad story, quote unquote, your struggle, your pain, 80% is glad it was in them. 20% were glad it's you. So, but hey, some will listen and we will analyze them here if you're willing to tell the story. No problem on my part. Just pointing it out. Not that I'm annoyed with it. I'll still listen. I'll still listen if you volunteer it.
Like a miracle. He took me to Nyayo House. I don't know, maybe at that time it wasn't even Nyayo, but he took me to the passport office. They took my photos and he told me to come tomorrow. The next day when I went, they had my passport. I didn't pay a dime for my passport. So now they were trying to book for me an appointment because there was a very short time where I was supposed to report. And all the appointments were booked at the American Embassy. So Isaiah Otieno held my hand and took me to the American Embassy. Then it was still in Gigiri, I believe still the same location. So I just hear, Marcelino Nyango, window 6, is the African American lady. And I'm like, damn, I'm not getting a visa.
So the consulate was a black woman. That's what she said. So when she saw the black woman behind the glass, the one that issues the visas, her confidence dropped. I don't know why, but she said she didn't think she would get a visa. But let's find out how it goes. That's her Black experience started from all the way back in Kenya because her brother worked for another Black lady. So now her path to America, you have a Black lady sitting there issuing the visas. Let's see how this goes.
And then I just composed myself and I said, "Hi, madam." You can imagine me. I was really young and I just had like braids. I don't know how they call them. Just straight lines, no extensions, just lines going to the back.
She's talking about cornrows.
I still remember that's how I looked. I said, "Hi, how are you today?" And she was like taken aback because nobody says hi to her. And she said, "I'm fine, thank you. Just a moment."
She probably one of those Black women with the attitude because you see she's doing the head. So the Black woman's probably like, oh, okay. She's got some hood in her. So I think her village is a hood, I mean, we've got the impression already, right? So, and she went to the consulate. She was able to present her hood skills. So here we go.
I'll be right with you. I'll be like, "No problem at all."
Yes, proud Eritrean, like the sassy Black woman at the TSA. And somehow she was able to connect and be able, because when you say hi to them like that, it does throw them off. So she was able to get through to the Black woman.
And so she started asking.
And advice, yes, don't be rude to the Black women. Even when they have the attitude, just say hello. It gets them off that attitude.
"Why are you late for school?" I told her it's because admission letter arrived late, but I've come during my earliest convenience. So she said, "Okay."
But when you try to give them the same attitude back, now you've started fire. But just say hi and everything will be fine.
She asked me a few questions. Why should I give you a visa and not everybody here? Because there are so many people who want to go to America. And I said, "You should give me a visa because I have a spirit that never gives up." My mom died when I was in high school and I could have easily dropped out of school. But I went home, I buried my mom, and I went back and I finished high school. And the same way, even if it will not be easy in America, I promise you that I will never give up. And she said, "Congratulations, you've been approved to get to America." And I remember just jumping up and down. So then I started running and she said, "Come back and pick up your visa tomorrow."
So she was able to sell the Black woman on her story. Obviously she was able to connect and she's like, all right. But remember, she says she would do whatever it takes, however difficult it is to make it in America. So the counselor is probably like, hey, why not? Let me give her a chance. So because she probably have heard those stories. So it's like an American story to give somebody a chance. So that's what she did. But now we're about to get to the juicy parts when she got to America.
Yes, now after I got the visa, the trip was real now. Now I was going to America. And now I was, just didn't have the air ticket. And I went to HELB, Higher Education Loans Board. Yeah, I know many people owe HELB. And asked them to give me a loan for my ticket.
She didn't do a GoFundMe for the ticket. Oh, they didn't have GoFundMe back then.
But they said they don't give loan to international students. So they referred me to a really great woman named Alice Ayonga. And she's the one who talked with her husband, who is a pastor. And
proud Eritrean said, now she's in a hot pursuit for her child. Exactly. It's about to get real?
The husband took me to their church and they raised money for my ticket. And once again, I just want to say thank you so much. May God continue to bless you and lift you up. I know they have helped many, many people, not just me. So the very first impression when I get to the airport, and just not to mention that every single person who helped me was not from my tribe, you know. So it's really important that when you're meeting somebody, you don't look at their tribe, you don't look at their color, you don't look at whatever. If you are in a position to help somebody, just help them, you know. But the very, very first time before.
So she's pointing out that, like, because I guess there are Africans who they really believe in the tribe thing. They only stick with people from their tribe. So I guess she is surprised that other people from other tribe help her. But I'm not too surprised that she picks out on the fact about tribe because she's from a village. So village mostly, it's a small village, you know, everybody in your, like most of these villages, it's like one tribe or two tribes there. So if it's like her tribe is the only tribe in that village, so I can see why that would kind of be something that stood out to her, to see somebody from another tribe helping her. But if you are from around where I'm from, that's normal.
Before we landed in the aeroplane, there was a guy who made an announcement in the aeroplane. And you would think that we are entering heaven, the way he made this announcement. And you would think this is all he has ever done in his whole life, because it was so professional. It was like, welcome to the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I was like,
so she thought she died and woke up in heaven. And there are Africans who believe America is heaven. So that's why when I tell people that the greatest country on this side of heaven, people get mad at me. But yet, they hear people saying this, and I'm repeating to you what people are saying. But they get upset at when I say it. But they hear people say this, and in fact, these people do not only say it, they act it out. At least I just say it, but nobody ever asked me, what do you mean by the greatest country on this side of heaven? What do you find so great? Don't you guys think it is important for people to ask me this? But no, like she laid out her dream. Let's see her dreams. She's gotten one step closer to it. She's about to land. She heard the announcement. She's excited. She is in heaven. People, be honest, isn't this a fascinating, thrilling story? I mean, because, you know, some Africans even, they just go to work and then watch CNN. They don't even get to hear these stories about even the fellow Africans. They don't even know people like her exist, because the life she's going to be living eventually would be the underground life. That is the dark world that most of you are not privy to, but we are about to learn.
United States of America. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The plane is now landing in Houston, Texas. And it's so good. I felt
Proud Eritrean said, this is heaven compared to that toxic hood village. She's not wrong. He said the hood village. That's funny.
so high, like I'm on drugs, you know. So we land at the first airport in Houston, Texas. And they're holding me again. They tell me to sit down somewhere and wait. And they're saying, how come your visa is reading you're going to Silver Spring, Maryland, but you're in Arkansas? You have to sit there. So they sat me there until my last plane left me. I was supposed to land finally in Little Rock, Arkansas. But the plane from Houston to Little Rock left me because I was being held. And I was held there for hours. When I was arriving, I was not in communication with anybody in America.
So she's going to Arkansas, Little Rock. I don't know too many people who move to Arkansas. You know, I don't know too many. I don't know if I even know any African, a Gambian person that say I'm going to Arkansas. I'm pretty sure there are, but nothing wrong with Little Rock, but that's where she is headed. I told you it was one of those Christian Bible schools. So Christianity is strong in those parts of the United States. So let's go to Arkansas.
Because we didn't have phones at that time. Okay, some rich people had phones, but I didn't have a phone. And I was not in communication. I didn't know how to answer. I just told them Arkansas is a branch. Maryland is the main campus, but Arkansas is a branch of the university, which is just something that came out of my head. And I think it worked. So eventually I'm landing in Arkansas.
She used witchcraft on them.
And it's summertime. I remember it was on May 25th. And I'm landing in Arkansas. And honestly, the first shock that I've said a million times is the dressing. Everybody's wearing shorts. The old, the ugly, the beautiful, the young. Everybody's wearing like really, really small shorts, jeans shorts, and just little tank tops. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are walking naked. I can't believe these people are walking naked. And I was wearing a very long dress. I landed, I don't know what to do. I'm running.
So she's an innocent church girl. She's never seen, that much revealing, half naked, bodied American women running around. It was a shocker to her. So, she's a Christian. Let's find out how much her Christianity, holds up, because she's going to a Christian school. So let's find out.
Around the airport, and I want to buy a drink because I'm hungry. Remember, I have not eaten anything since I left Kenya because I didn't know I'm not going to eat something I don't know. What if I'm eating a snake? So I was really hungry. And when I asked for the price of a soda, because I saw soda, at least I've seen soda in Kenya. So I asked, how much is this Coca-Cola? And they said $5. And I'm
a drink for $5, Coca-Cola? I mean, she mean 5 pesos? A $5 drink. And this is like before Obama was president. Well, I don't know. It's Arkansas. But that's still pretty high. That's my point. Because I remember, even today, you can get, soda out of those vending machines for 50 cents. It used to be 25 cents. 25 cents. But okay.
I'm translating it into Kenyan money, like 500 shillings. And in Kenya, soda is 30 shillings. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are thieves. They want to rob me right here at the airport. I can't believe a soda is $5. So I said, I'm never going to buy anything in America. I'm never, ever, 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 ever.
These thieving Americans, the moment they hear your accent, they jack up the price. Is that what she wants us to believe? But all right.
So if you are going to America for the first time, the prices of everything will also shock you. So I'm just sitting somewhere, and then this African American lady comes, and she's like, hi, sweetheart. How are you, honey? Where are you from? And I said, I'm from Kenya. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you're from Africa. You're from the motherland.
How is she meeting all these black women? Like, it's interesting, but she met a black woman who is excited. I mean, I can totally see how, back in those days, black women, even today, they get excited about meeting an African, especially in Arkansas. But this is interesting.
Come here, and she's hugging me tight, she's embracing me, she's shaking with me, she's jumping, and I'm like, what? And she said, what do you want to eat? I want to buy for you something. And I said, please, please don't buy for me anything. It's too expensive. You can imagine how heavy my accent was. It's too expensive. Don't buy for me anything at all. She said, it's okay. I can afford it. I can buy for you. I don't know, whatever. She forced me eventually. And I had to wait in the airport almost another 8 hours for me to be picked up.
Do you guys think she's just plain naive, or she's just that dumb? I don't, which one is it? I don't get it. But sounds like when she came to America, she was bland. She did not know anything. I mean, anything.
It was a really long wait because from the airport to the school was 4 hours drive. So this person had just driven 4 hours, and now they have to drive another 4 hours. And it seems like they left the airport just before I flew in. I got in the van and we started driving to the school. So we are driving. I'm like, oh my God, where are we going to? We are leaving the tarmac road, we are getting in the Maram road in the US. And I'm like, I thought the Maram road is in my village in Kabura. How are we getting? I had imagined America is like, I really believed America is heaven. So we got in the Maram road, and eventually, after many 4 hours, like 4 hours, we are in the school. And when we get there, it's nighttime, which is daytime in Kenya. So the next day again, it's a strictly vegetarian diet. There is no meat. There is no, no eggs, no milk. We were just eating soy products. We would be served granola cereal with some soy milk. Really, the culture shock for food was huge on me, because I would just go look at the table and turn around and start crying, because I was not familiar with anything, maybe except for the fruits. Just a few days later, they said, let's get on the van. We are going to Wichita.
So this woman went to one of these Christian schools where it's vegetarian school. They eat only vegetarian. So it sounds about right, because it seems like she got the scholarship. She live in the school there. So she follows all the rules because they are the ones providing everything. Okay? Proud Eritrean said, Americans don't jack up prices. That's an African thing. Yes. Those of you that are coming to watch, yes, in America, the price is the same across the board. I was just being sarcastic. EYB said, are there African dumb blondes? Well, plenty, because she's playing it good here.
Kansas. So I'm like, this sounds exciting. Wichita, Kansas sounds good, better than Arkansas. So we're going to Wichita, Kansas, and they're telling us you have to go and sell books there. The one who is giving us the instructions where to go is this guy named Eugene Prewitt. I believe maybe he was the founder of Wichita Hills College. The place where I was is Wichita Hills College. So in Wichita, Kansas, when I went to church on Saturday that week, I met some Kenyans. There was a lady named Roslyn who is a nurse, a Luo lady, and other Kenyans that I met. And they're the first people who took me to a buffet. So that's the day that I knew, oh, so there's meat in America, there's chicken in America, there's milk in America, there's ice.
Wait a minute. So this woman mean to tell us that she all along thought, oh, America is this heaven, but meat, milk, all these things didn't exist. Man, it means there was enough. You just went to a vegetarian school, a veggie school, where that's what they eat. I'm pretty sure when you got there, they gave her orientation. And in that orientation, they give you like a little booklet. If you had taken the time and read that booklet, it would have explained, over here at this Christian college, X, Y, and Z time, that's when we meet for the kale salad and broccoli. I'm pretty sure they have like a menu, you see? But okay, you found out there is meat in all this in America. I see your point. Like some of these small villages, strange places, not village, but small places in the Midwest or wherever, I can see if you find yourself there, how your American dream would quickly start dimming up. But that provided you didn't have a plan. But she was on scholarship, right? Full ride. So let's see if she's going to keep up with the scholarship.
Scream in America. There's all these things. So during the week, we would wake up in the morning, have our prayers inside the church. We lived inside the church. We would wake up, we would have our prayers, and then we had bags. Everybody have a heavy bag, and we get on the van, and then they go drop you in an estate.
So you see, you guys are learning a lot because I am. I hope the blacks are listening to, the ones FBA types that say, oh, we opened the door. So all the Africans came the same way. No, you see how she's going through her Christianization, the teachings, prayer in the morning. They got their little bags. They're eating their veggies, riding in the vans, selling books. Majority, like let's say a hustler like me, I have never experienced that. Somebody had brought that to me, I'll be like, what? Veggies? Man, you better get out of my face. But you see, it depends. It looks like mostly, I notice it, us West Africans, you end up in the East Coast first, New York, Maryland, and either the West Coast, the bigger cities. That's where us, West Africans, Nigerian, Senegalese, Malian, Ghanaians, and you'll find some in Texas. And if they go further Midwest, it will still be big city, Chicago. Because the big cities, that's where the opportunities are. You want to be closer. You want to be where, there is diversity, all kinds of people. You get to learn, you get to mingle, you get to pick up faster. But you're all up in this place where it's like a little town. You guys are eating veggies. Man, you're behind the 8 ball, like way behind. You are not in America yet. Shit, you went from one village to another village. That's what it is. But I want you to know, for those of you who a story might try to discourage you, that's not everyone's experience, just so you know. Just come to New York City. The blacks will welcome you. You'll be fine. Or Maryland, just don't become a criminal. You'll be okay. Or Atlanta. But here we go.
And then you have to start knocking door to door to door to door. And everybody have a memorized script. So we would go like this. Hi, my name is Mercy. I'm a student working my way through school. Instead of junk food or magazines, we decided to offer something more lasting. Desire of Ages talks about the life of Jesus from the time he was born to the time he died. It talks about his ministry here on earth and how he healed the sick, how he raised the dead, how he made the blind to see, and then we go to the...
Guys, did you see what is happening here? So they took her through this Christian training. Now everything makes sense. I ran into some Ugandans. They were talking like this. The white people at the church trained them to talk this way. So now I get it. Some of the blacks, when they say, oh, you all Africans just repeat what the white people say. Now, some of those, I get it. Imagine if they ran into her and her other types, they're going to be like, oh, the Africans are this way. But no, now this is making sense to me as well. I've run, like I said, some Ugandans, they are super Christiany that way. But now that I'm watching it, it's just fake. They just teach you to say this, just to sell some story, books, whatever. You see, people, the type of things you learn in America. Said, be careful with Atlanta. The FBA type said Africans here. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Thanks for pointing that out.
Next book. Choices offers the latest information in healthy cooking. They are food that you can prepare in 30 minutes or less. So it's a long strict script. And sometimes I would recite my whole script. And then the customer would be like, excuse me, what did you just say? After taking like 5 minutes.
So I'm not wrong in saying they train her to say these things. It's a script. She just told us. So we learned something here today.
Because my accent was really, really, really heavy. And another challenge I faced was the dogs. Those white people, the dogs are like human beings. And I was so scared of dogs. So when I would just be like, oh my God, today I'm dead. I was so scared of their dogs. But their dogs, you have to pet them. So if you're going to America, you have to pet them and talk to them like a human being and be like, hi, cutie, what's your name? And touch them everywhere.
So, you see, you guys have to also understand. EYB said, Afridamos, now you see we weren't lying. Not entirely. No, I see now. I see. So, you see where she received her training from? So she's right about the dogs. It's not like the dogs over there in Gambia. Like in Gambia, those dogs, like I see those dogs, they have like hostile look on their face. It's like they're gangster. You see a dog running by himself on the street. Oh, like literally, it's like an entire gang of dogs. Their leader, and sometimes they would even stand there and give you the look like I dare you. So most people from those environments, you don't mess with dogs because the African dogs, they will bite you. So she's got a point. So she learned, she's bargaining. She's like, hey, if the least I have to do is talk to the American dog like a human being and I don't get bitten, that's what I gotta do. So she learned how to talk to the dogs. Like one time I was in some type of festival many, many years ago in our downtown. And some guy decided to show up there with his pit bulls. And sometimes pit bulls, they don't do well with crowds. Sometimes they get confused and he was just messing around and I don't know what happened. The pit bull broke off the leash, 2 pit bulls, and they just took off running into the crowd. And I'm walking up the street and the pit bull is coming at me, both of them. He's like, catch him. I was like, hell no. I just jumped and, hugged the wall and let those pit bull, roll past me. I don't know those pit bulls. I don't know what they can do, but all I know is they are pit bulls. So I moved out of the way. So, but the white dogs, yeah, she's right. If you want to be cool with the white people and talk to them, because the dog is there. The dog is not going anywhere. So the least compromise you can do is, talk to the dog and be friendly. You'll be fine. It's not like those, gangster African dogs, the ones that would bite you because they're hungry.
So I had to learn to be friendly with the dogs, and then I had to learn to speak with their accent. So they would train me, they would put me aside. You don't say water, I say water. Okay? My name is Mercy, not Mercy.
Guys, sorry, I can't. Okay. Guys, again, I have heard like some of the FBA types, guys, I know sometimes you would laugh about it, but some of the things they do say, are true. Just because you didn't go through that, because you see some of us, you're like in a big city. You just like any other black person, you've never had to go through this mercy or the way you say your name, because your name is even like Christian, like my name. I'm the one telling you my name. I'm teaching you how to say my name. You're not the one teaching me how to say my name. It sounds like they were teaching her. So it's funny. That's why she's laughing at it. And she knows she was just playing along because it's funny. It's really funny. Imagine somebody teaching you how to pronounce your own name. Yeah, I can totally see those, church people, wherever she was at, saying, oh, our poor African girl, let's save her. Because she actually exhibit a lot of ignorance that would make you want to help her, like she doesn't know. But the way she's laughing told me she was just playing along.
So I had to really learn to speak. So I sold books the whole time at summertime. Some people would be like, no, I'm sorry, I don't want your book, but I'll give you here a $20 donation. And if you gave the Eugene Private $20 donation, he would not give you anything. So if I got a donation, I would just pocket it, send it home or something like that. By the way, one day, I got a chance to call Kenya, I think it's the first time I was calling Kenya from America since I had arrived. So this white woman, she gave me her phone. She said, okay, you want to talk to your family? It was on a Saturday, yeah, after church. Yes, I want to talk to my family. Here's the phone. And she said, you can talk as long as you want. So I started calling my sister. I talk with my sister. I said like 1 hour. I called my brother. I talk with my brother. I called somebody. I talk with somebody. Wait until the phone bill came. When the phone bill came, this white woman came like, this African girl, she used my phone. The phone bill is over $500.
You see? Because the white woman, she was playing Christian. She's like, they're in Arkansas. She thought she's about to call somebody in, like, just down the street in Texas. That's what she thought. She didn't know this is international call. Because you see, back in the times that she's talking about, they didn't have all these apps, these WhatsApps and all, Now it's easy to make calls. Back in those days, you gotta have $5, and go buy a phone card and put that phone card pin in and call whoever you want to call in Africa. Sometimes it's $2. You have X amount of time, you put in the pin and you call over in Africa. So that's the times she's explaining. Or sometimes some phone you can press 1 and call directly. But if you do that, the phone bill is gonna go up. So that's what happened. And she sounds like she was doing hours on the phone. So the phone bill came, the white woman lost it.
I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was a lot of money. I said, but she gave me the phone. She told me to just call for as long as I like. Oh my goodness, it was so high. I kept selling books door to door for many months, say the whole summertime. I arrived in May, so we sold books all the way until September, the end of summer. So one day I had a really, really huge breakdown when I was selling books. And this was because one of the guys, I think the guy from Mexico, said I smell. And I really, really, really cried. Like, it affected me so much.
So Mexican told her she smells. So So now she's learning, instead of learning how to stand up for herself, she's choosing to cry. Hey, happy companion, welcome in the show. He said Afridamus for president. Yeah, those Latinos. Proud Eritrean, exactly. Those Latinos, he had to be, the Latino, to say that to her. But let's go.
I cried. I went, like I wanted to kill myself. I was like, just take me back to Kenya. Please, please, please. Like I was so embarrassed. I cried so hard. And one of the ladies who was selling books door to door with us, her dad was a doctor. Yeah. So she called her dad and she said, this lady from Kenya, somebody said that she smells. And the dad said, okay, it's the change in, if it is true, it could be the change in food, the food you're not used to. It could be the change in climate. It could be the change in so many things. But
oh, wow. So they were trying to figure out why she smells. So, okay, that's interesting. So she cried, but she's not telling us if she really did smell or not. But they're trying to figure it out. Okay, what's going on? I'm learning something here today, people. I told you how it goes down. I'm learning things here with you. They told us she smelled, and now they're investigating. Could be the food, could be the weather. Now, some of you Africans, I bet you feel bad because you've never gone through all this. The worst you've gone through is being called an African booty scratcher. Right? But she's over here, they're telling her she smells by a Mexican, and now they're trying to investigate what causes the smell. Let's go.
But it's almost normal. If you're coming from a whole different continent to a whole different continent with different climate and all that thing. And that is one of the days that I really, really wanted out. I really wanted to come back to Africa, despite the witchcraft, whatever. I wanted home.
So if she ran into a FBA type and told her story, can you blame the FBA for saying the Africans are running from their countries? Because she's running away from the witchcraft until they told her, oh, because maybe in her village, her smell was unique, like probably it's the unique hood village smell. So maybe the spices, whatever, everyone, probably smelled that way. Now somebody noticed a different smell. It's not like, because some places, the people, the food they eat, the spices, you can smell it on, from their sweat pores. So some people might smell it and think, oh, you smell different whatsoever, right? So maybe that's what happened to her. And now, they wanted to investigate. But you see, when somebody hears that, you would say, oh, all Africans, but not quite. People are from different places. Some are from cities, some are from villages, as we are learning over here. The cure said Africans on the continent, and when they first come over, have a different order. It's not a bad thing. It's mostly due to diet. You're right. You're right about that. You're correct.
Anyway, the ladies really helped me. The lady that the dad was a doctor. She helped me. She bought me deodorant. And okay, after summer, we went back to the school. The school in quotes. Let me just say in plain and simple language that I was scammed. I was lied to. I was misled. I was taken an advantage of. Let me just say plain and clear, like I've never said before, that Eugene Pruitt was using poor people from third world countries for his own interest.
Guys, another thing the blacks complained about, they are right. They say some of these quote unquote missionaries, they use these Africans unsuspecting Africans like they're helping them. So she's telling us she's a victim of it. So it looks like they go to villages, naive village women, girls like her, and they bring them over. So, because how could she not have known? That's why it's strange. Last time I said it in one of my shows that, do you think, especially for African females, young female, to leave their country of origin and go to a complete strange country where they don't have any relatives or people that they are related to go with them or be with them? Does that make sense? And some people are like, yeah, you're right. Some say, no, she should be independent. But this woman is about to tell us, look at what her independence cost her. Scam. She was able to be scammed all the way from Kenya to America. I thought, Nigerians were the only ones that are able to pull this one off. But, the Nigerians, some of them have a point. They said they are not the only ones that do it. They said the white man does it too. So they have that in common here. They are right about this one. Guys, you see, I told you, when I realized something, I point it out. When I realized, even when some of the blacks were saying some of these things, now I realize it's true, I'm pointing it out. Let's go.
Saying that you're selling books to go to school, but actually you're selling books for his own profit. Because he would take the money and he would never even pay us anything. There was no salary. They just said the money will be used for school fees. I don't understand this program. I believe that eventually the immigration did shut it down for international students. But
so this guy was running a scam, immigration scam on the American government, where they bring unsuspecting Africans like her. It sounds like they were brought here and this man they were using them to make money off of them, like send them to go sell books. That's how they made money. So literally their own personal slaves, unsuspecting slaves, but they transport themselves over here to America. I knew something was off. That's literally human trafficking. But the way the man they set it up, this is no different than, think about it, this is no different than, how they trick those African women to go to the Middle Eastern countries. The Middle Easterns are obvious about it. That's why we're like, oh, look at, they're enslaving the Africans. But think about it. This woman is literally, so her dream is to come to America, right? And here's this guy that set up this Christian organization, like a school. Somehow he was able to pull it off. So that's why beware when you see these quote unquote organizations. They would say, oh, they used to be Christian, but now they would say social justice warrior. Like, these people are human rights people. So we want to empower the girls, the women. But have you noticed, is the women that are victims of this human trafficking, for the most part, they're the ones they take to Lebanon, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. And if you really pay attention, even America, and for some reason, I'm going to do another program. Somehow it seems so easy to traffic Kenyan women. I've seen videos, documentaries, even where Nigerians traffic Kenyan women all the way from Kenya to India and distribute them to all these places. So this woman is not only a victim, because in America, you don't think about it that way. Because if you look at it, the way they set it up, she thought she was bringing herself over. But little did she know, like, the process looked legit, but in reality, the school even didn't exist. That's why I said, remember the full scholarship? The full scholarship, I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it. But let's go.
We never lived there in the school. We just always lived inside the churches. We slept in the sleeping bags. He never gave us lunch. During the lunchtime, he would take his wife, Heidi, I remember all their names, and they would go eat somewhere, very fancy and leave us hungry. I remember that I just used to eat, I used to cook white rice every morning. So that is what I ate, white rice for lunch for almost a year. Plain white rice with nothing.
Guys, that man, he's good. Look at what he did. He made them believe they're just this Christian program, sleeping from church to church, right? In sleeping bags. And he told them they are vegetarians. They are vegetarians because it's cheap to get vegetables. Maybe eventually she would have fed them leaves. Who knows? So do you guys think she was just naive or dumb? That's because they prey on innocent people like her, who they're like, oh, I just want to live my dream. But you want to go to a foreign land where you know no one there. No one. And then you have this full ride scholarship. But she didn't even tell us what the scholarship was about. And it's fascinating to me that it was painted like in a legal way, like it was legal. You would have thought they were only pulling this type of trick to the Middle East. But it's happening even to Europe and America, apparently. So they are distributing Kenyan women all over the world like coffee. Because if you don't believe me, go check online. Even majority of the victims of the UAE, quote unquote, slavery thing, there's plenty of Kenyan women there. But we'll get to that as well.
No soup, nothing. So this guy, Eugene Pruitt, was just using us. One day I met a missionary lady. I tried to sell books to her at the Baptist church, and the lady said, you don't look okay. You have to tell me what is wrong. First, she was really shocked. What am I doing in Arkansas, of all the places in America? What is an African immigrant doing in Arkansas?
Guys, remember I told you, Arkansas, the guy chose the best place. Arkansas, far away, because Africans don't go to Arkansas. Let's say you want to bring some Africans and try to pull this off in New York, Atlanta, Seattle, California, places like that. LA. It's not, Maryland, it's not going to work because he knows they are going to run into other Africans or some, black person who would be like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. Or even some white people. But Arkansas is unsuspecting. It's unsuspecting. They don't know much about immigrants, I'm guessing, at that time. So someone saw red flags like, okay, what is a African immigrant doing all the way in Arkansas selling books from door to door? This doesn't add up. But let's go.
Arkansas is like for really white racists. And then Arkansas, many African students, they go to Texas, they go to New Jersey, they go to Minnesota, they go to California, whatever. Nobody comes to Arkansas. So,
but she shouldn't have problem with Arkansas being white, because you guys remember, her dream is to find a white man. Let's go. Let's see if her mind's going to change.
I tried to tell her, I'm okay, I'm okay. She insisted that you have to tell me you are not okay. So she's the one who stole me from Wichita Hills, from the church, and she took me to live in her house. And I stayed with her for a while, until one day she kicked me out. So this lady, the missionary lady,
The way she laughed, meaning she did something evil. You know, she talked about all that black magic. Maybe she's the witchcraft. She might be possessed. The way she laughs at all these things. Let's find out why she got kicked out. Because everybody's died in the village that's close to her, except her. And now she laughs at it like she got that black magic spirit. I mean, I'm just pointing out what I observe.
she used to go to work and her husband used to go to work. I used to go to school. So they used to give me their computer to chat freely. In their computer, I believe that sometimes maybe I used to visit dating sites, you know, because I had gotten this notion that if you marry an American, you get a green card. Yes. And if you get a green
Oh, good old dating sites, right? She wanted to go to Plenty of Fish. She wanted to be one of the fishes in the sea. But she's playing naive, right? Of all the places, mind you, at that time, you could visit on the internet. You want to go to Plenty of Fish and be one of the fishes in the sea, looking for your white man. But let's see where this goes. Because I don't think her going to Plenty of Fish alone would get her kicked out. But she was determined. So she went to Plenty of Fish.
card, then you become a citizen. I believe I was, even if I wasn't. I've never really understood, but I remember that pornography popped up in the computer. So I don't know if it popped up because of the website I was visiting or if it popped up because somebody else used to watch pornography on this computer. Because
Okay, so she's telling us, oh, she was on her way in Plenty of Fish, and then somehow one of these porn sites, RedTube or whichever, typed itself there and then popped up. Let's find out if it would also click on itself.
to me, coming from Kabura village, honestly, we had no computers. And honestly, I had never even seen or imagined that pornography exists. I had never seen it.
Man, guys, let's be honest. Do you guys want... I understand she's from a village, but she went to that college, remember, in a big town. So she said she knew nothing, absolutely nothing about porn at all. She knew nothing. Guys, she strikes me as some of those African women you meet who play naive. Like, they don't know. In my village, there is no computer. Okay, I get it. But we are not in your village. Computers, they show the things that people type in. But she's saying maybe somebody was watching. Is she saying the woman's husband was watching porn? Just asking questions. My point is, for Africans that want to play naive, play these games, stupid little games, know that you cannot beat the computer. You can't lie about the computer. The reason why I'm putting emphasis on this, like back in those days, like I said, before all this website stuff, Wi-Fi, they used to have this one, they have 1-900 numbers, not 1-800 number. There's a difference. It's 1-900 numbers. These phone lines, these are sex phone lines. So people. I've never called this, but I've seen the commercial. So one time, my uncle, they had some guy who visited his place. So at night, when everyone goes to bed, this man was picking up the phone, calling this sex phone. He would dial this 1-900 numbers. And they charge him a bunch of money eventually. So the bill comes, and my uncle's like, what? Like, what's going on? So they ask him, this guy tried to say, these people call him instead. This man doesn't live at this house. He's just visiting. His name is not on the bill. How would they know to call him over there? They've never called the people that live in that house. And he used that African logic, and he expected my uncle to go along with it. So she accidentally, like here, porn popped up. That's what she said. Let's see what's gonna happen.
And when it popped up, just like I was a teenager, it was very normal for me to click and see what, out of curiosity. I clicked on it. I'm not going to lie. I clicked on the pornography.
We know you clicked on it.
And when I clicked on it, I was amazed, like, the only thing that happened is that when I clicked on...
There goes the evil laugh, and she did the slut hair move thing, meaning she's relieving how excited she was to do what she did. She's reliving it in her head. Interesting.
Pornography, many windows started popping up. So when I clicked on this was popping up, and this was popping up, and this was popping up, and so the whole computer got infected with the pornography virus. So when I tried to close it, more were popping up. When I tried to close it, there was even more and more and more and more and more.
So, long story short, you went on a porn site and infected their computer with viruses. Okay. Yeah, I would kick you out of my place too for that.
The whole computer was just pornography, here and here, like 1 million windows. So I tried to turn the computer off, I tried to restart it. I tried to do everything, but the more I opened, the more they got even more and more and more and more and more. So when they came back, I had turned the computer off. When they turned the computer on, it was just pornography everywhere. And they were like, is this what you are doing here? And I said, I'm sorry, but I didn't open. Yes, you did.
See, she's trying to play innocent. Oh, no, I didn't open it. It opened itself. Proud Eritrean said, a lot of African women that come to America become harlots. I'm seeing that. You are not wrong about that. She's a proven case here. How many more are out there like her? So I'm opening your eyes to the other world. So we understand, right? This woman, her dream, she followed her dream. She came to Arkansas. She is used as a book sales slave from door to door. She got rescued from there. She went on the computer, tried to hop on plenty of fish, and then she detoured to Red Tube and infected the computer. That's where we are. Now, let's see. So that means she's free from the cult that brought her to America, right? The vegetarian cult. At this point, she's no longer there. Moving on, let's see. Now her new life. Now she's about to be for the streets. For real, for real. Let's go.
Yes, you opened it. And I said, it just popped up. Yes, you have seen it. This is what you are doing here. So they just kicked me out on the streets to nowhere. Yeah, so at this time, I had lost my relationship with the Eugene Prewitt, who brought me to America. The Peter Kosgei, the Kalenjin pastor who had brought me here, was living in another state. He was living in Minnesota. And he only called me the first day when I arrived in the US. And then he had never called me again because I had no phone anyway.
Yeah, you had no phone, so it will be hard for him to call you, you know. So I'm glad you caught that yourself.
So I've lost 3 relationships. I don't have any relationship with Kosgei. I don't have a relationship with the Eugene Prewitt, and I don't have a relationship with the missionary people who had adopted me now. They had actually raised money for me to register at Northwest Arkansas Community College. So I'm in school, but you know, in Arkansas there are no buses, there are no trains. It's just like a village.
Did not tell you guys from one village to another. So this woman at that age, she was getting adopted by different white people, but somehow her relationship is not lasting with any of them. All those relationships are getting stale by the hour. So now she's out of the cult college that brought her there. So shouldn't it be good? Now she's discovered that she was just duped, right? But she was trying to somehow go back, but the relationship was in there. And she's in community college in Arkansas. Hey, they raise money for you. The least you can do is trying to figure out how to get to that college. Just keep going to college. First few quarters, you will find friends. Trust me, who would be willing to eventually start giving you a ride. And you figure out which Dairy Queen is hiring, or the closest Walmart, or they have a KFC or Burger King somewhere. I mean, you could be their first Kenyan employee, save up your money and buy your first car, and slowly save up a little bit more, and you can drive out of Arkansas to Texas. You see, you can go to Houston. But I'm just laying you a plan. If you find yourself in these small places, there is still ways to leave. There is still ways. You could keep going to the college, like I said, find friends who are more than happy to come and pick you up every day. You find a job and just give them gas for picking you up to school. Okay, here we go.
And the school is very far away. So I can't even get to school. So I go out here on the streets on my own. And I'm a lady, I'm very young. And
I'm a lady, I'm very young. Now she realized that she's a lady and she's young. She got to go in the streets. Let's find out what she finds in the streets.
I'm black in a white country, in a white state. Eventually I met another.
Now she realized also she's black in a white country. Okay, ma'am, where did you expect to find that white man that you dreamt about getting? It's not gonna be in black land. You didn't find them in Kenya. So yes, you have to come to a place where there's white people. You guys see the reason why I'm pointing this out. So the Africans that play victim. So the moment the heat comes in, all of a sudden now she realized Arkansas is racist and is white, but she is there to look for a white man. You know, one of many other things. So let's see how pro-black she is becoming. Because you see, hard times does turn dark-skinned people to pro-black. So I think that's what happened. She's like, no, it's not because I was going to plenty of fish and then infected these people's computer. That's what got me kicked out. No, it's because these people are white and they are racist. But prior to that, my skin color didn't matter. But let's go.
The Kenyan lady.
I'm just pointing this out so you don't fall into this. No matter how hard times get, Remember, hard work would still get you out. Even if somebody try to use your blackness as obstacle for you, your job is to overcome it. It doesn't matter what one thinks of you, but what you think of yourself and what you believe to be true about yourself is what's going to prevail. But if you're easily broken by what one thinks of you, it means you believe what is coming your way. Just little Sunday advice.
And this Kenyan lady said, "You're from Kenya, come stay with me, you know." And when I went to stay with her, she was now actually practicing what I had seen. She would bring different men to her house and have sex with them in front of me.
You guys see what Proud Eritrean said? So she's now spilling the beans on these Kenyan women. So his Proud Eritrean said, you know, these African women, most of them, they become harlots. And it's wild because me, myself, I've seen many, you know, women, especially from that part of Africa, Kenya, who are harlots like her, who run with different men from clubs. They become wild. So now she is telling us, this woman that brought her there, she is bringing different men in. Now she said, I'm seeing what I saw in that, you know, porn video. So guys, let me ask you this. You guys remember she said she didn't even, click on that video. Things were just popping up. So that would mean the computer just got infected. You didn't even have the chance to watch those videos. Not that I ever did that, but I did read about it. You see what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. But who didn't? That's my point, right? You graduate from that. But you know how it happened. You know this. You know this. So she started seeing, let's see where that took her to. Guys, I'm telling you, not only are you learning, I'm learning too. Because we've seen a lot of behaviors, for instance, right? But we never know how they came about. You would see a couple of African women living in some apartment. They're doing whatever they're doing, but you never know where their headspace is, what they're thinking, and how that even came about. So things you've never thought about to say, maybe this is the possibility or this is that, or they're selling you some story, it didn't make sense because you are not thinking along these lines. In your head, you can never, you're like, nah. Because if you're not exposed to it, you cannot put two and two together. If you don't know people that roll that way, you can never put two and two together. Because I see some people come online, they talk like all the immigrants have the same thinking. I'm telling you what I'm presenting here. Most people that immigrate here from Africa didn't go through this. They did not experience this. Mind you, she was brought under fraud. A guy that pulled a 419, created his own fake, college in Arkansas. So the whole thing was in clean to begin with. But I'm surprised they were able to pull that off, to be quite honest.
And I was still a virgin.
I was still a virgin. Oh, well, so we're supposed to believe you, even though you yourself that is saying it, you find your statement to be a joke. She was still a virgin. Okay, let's go.
So life was changing very, very fast. And very quickly after that, I got a boyfriend too. I got a white boyfriend.
She got a white boyfriend, right? So she saw, according to her, because the reason why she brought up the fact that the woman she's staying with was a harlot, was bringing in different men, because she is setting you, me, and everybody up to prepare our brain up to say what she's about to tell us. She cannot take responsibility for it. It is that woman that made this happen. But I will keep breaking it down. Let's go.
So let's go hand in hand. If you're bringing men to your house, I'm going to his house too. He was actually her neighbor. This guy's name is Gareth, yeah? Gareth played a very important role of my life in America because Gareth he's the one who introduced me to American food like McDonald's, how to eat burgers and French fries. And he taught me about their holidays, Thanksgiving and their culture. And he was not a bad guy. He was actually a really nice guy. He took me to his mom's house, and I would meet their dogs. I would get used now to the pets that I was scared of.
She got her white knight. Garrett taught her how to eat hamburger. America, hamburger people. Trust me, you might find this funny, but there are people that come to America. They don't know how to. They've never seen a hamburger. So imagine. So Garrett took her to McDonald's and bought her a Happy Meal. Imagine somebody like her. She's never been to McDonald's. You take her to McDonald's and you buy her a Happy Meal. 2 Whoppers. You got chicken nuggets. She's like, oh, wow, all that? You're like, you know what? Can I get fries added to that and milkshake? She's in heaven. She's in heaven. And then she learned about the American culture, Thanksgiving, and all that. So let's see how this goes with Garrett. She's got a fascinating story. Seriously. It definitely, her story is wild.
And later, I just decided to relocate. Actually, before I relocated, another woman adopted me again. Peggy.
She was just getting adopted by different white people. People, do you guys know any white people that are looking to adopt an African? Just asking for a friend. The person is grown, looks grown, but if they're looking to adopt, just let me know. They look grown, but they're adaptable. How about that? Because she's getting adopted all over. Guys, isn't that weird to you? That's pretty crazy. But let's go.
Peggy found me walking on the snow to the college. And she gave me a ride. And she told me they don't have kids, her and her husband, and they want me to stay in their house. And so I stayed with Peggy. And
guys, look, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, have you seen the movie Get Out? Have you guys seen the movie Get Out? You know how like they got to that, they have like that plantation, they have those different black people, like they bring they brainwash to do their thing. Have you seen that? Isn't she acting like that? Like she's going from all these different, it's like, okay, to me, it sounds like a code word. And when she says it, she laughs. Like, I'm getting adopted. Because it's Arkansas, right? Who knows? Maybe they are doing plantation play. Have you guys ever heard of ghetto gagas? I have heard of it. These ghetto gagas, this is one of those things where like you have some of the white people who are obsessed with saying like the black woman has, play like she's a slave, right? Like her property. And then they would enact this because it's rather strange. Like I've lived in America for so long. I haven't been adopted by white people yet. And when I first came to America, I looked much younger. They still didn't adopt me. What is up with that? But she just getting adopted by these different couples. What is up with that? So I'm pointing this out. Maybe, just maybe, sometimes you might see these dynamics, but do you see what I'm pointing out here? Because these things are real. There are people that play the plantation thing. They call it plantation game. Ghetto gagas. Look this up. If you're under 18, do not look it up. Okay? Thank you.
This is also a cultural difference that happened between me and Peggy. You know, in Africa, if you're working, you have to take care of your family. If your mom is alive, your parents are alive. And in the US, you only take care of yourself and your family. So Peggy would not understand why I want to pay school fees for my younger sister. She would not understand. She just thought I would be their child and they would love me and provide for me if I want anything. They just would give me, they would buy for me, not give me money, but they would buy for me anything that I wanted. But I had no money to help my family. So I also left Peggy's house and...
But isn't this weird? So she was homeless, right? Peggy adopted her. She didn't have no job, no money. Peggy gave her a roof over her head. So she should use this time to, get on her feet. This is for many of you Africans. Worrying about people in Africa, you yourself, your feet are wobbly, meaning you can't even take care of yourself. So you should focus on getting stronger before thinking about carrying anyone. But she now, because she's giving example, people take care of their moms. But remember, her mom died, her brother died. So she should be focused on taking care of herself. While, Peggy, according to, Peggy, they adopted her. They just want to take care of her. I don't know what it is. I admire her luck. She's very, very lucky. Like I said, I haven't been I haven't found her type of luck. Seriously. Just the white people adopting me, telling me they would buy me everything, pay my bills. Anyways, maybe I should move to Arkansas. I might get adopted there.
I moved now to Dallas, Texas. I dropped out of school because the international tuition. Okay, one thing, if you are trying to go to study in America and you are coming from Kenya or any other African country, is that in America, if you are an international student, you have to pay like 3 times what an American citizen pays. The tuition is 3 times. So if they're paying $10,000 per semester, you have to pay almost $30,000 per semester. And then you don't qualify for their programs. The programs are either you are a US citizen or you're a permanent resident. They have like scholarship, they have many grants, but you have to be an American citizen to qualify. So me as a student visa holder, I didn't qualify. And I started working in a nursing home. Nursing home is where you deal with old people. You have to change their diapers and brush their teeth. Poo-poo. Yawaze, yes. And it's crazy because many Kenyans do that job. Not just Kenyans, but many Africans. Because the people there, they don't want to do it. I wouldn't say it's humiliating because it pays, But for me as a woman, the challenge I faced is lifting the heavy people. Sometimes I have to lift a man who is 3 times my weight. Although they train you how to lift it, but eventually you start feeling pain in your back. And there's also a lot of racism and discrimination in the nursing department. I did not know that I was black until I went to America. I actually just thought I'm a human being. But I had to meet the hard reality of somebody in the nursing home calling, "Leave me alone, nigga. Don't touch me, nigga." And I'm like, what is nigga? I'm trying to help. Don't touch me, nigga. And it's even in the churches, because one day I tried to sing inside the church and they said, sit down and shut up, nigger.
Who saw the nigger thing coming in? Who saw it coming? So all throughout, she went looking for the white man. Race wasn't a thing. So now she's FBA now. Okay? She is FBA. But let's continue, because at this nursing home, it sounds like ex-Klansmen, all the ex-Klansmen retired in this nursing home. So let's find out how this Klansmen at the elderly care facility, how they behave.
A white person telling you that, I'm like, what is this nigger they're calling me? What is this nigger? But I later came to realize it's a very, very discriminating. It's the worst you can call somebody. But
so at this point, she was in America for, at least lots and lots of months or a year, right? She said she didn't know what that word meant. I mean, I think it's possible. She's from a village. Do you guys think she didn't know? I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. Dunstan said, have you been called N-word Afridamus? Yes, I have before. But not like, like that. It was like by an insane person. I mean, I'm talking literally real crazy person that, called me that. But let's go.
But I think there's a misunderstanding, because when I went to America, I was told African Americans are very lazy people. They don't want to work. They don't want to do this. But it's just that when they try to work, when you try to rebuild your life, somebody's killing you, somebody's discriminating against you, somebody's treating you like you're less than a human being. So it's very complicated. I want to advise you that before you judge an African American, try to find out why first. Try to find out why. And
did you guys see what she did there? She's setting up another plot, right? So throughout her journey, so far from what we've heard, her dealings is with white people. She's met a couple of blacks. So in that nursing home, there couldn't possibly be a lot of Black Americans there. Hearing those geriatric patients, hauling, nigger all day long. I couldn't possibly see that being a thing, right? But it's possible. But how did she all of a sudden now become pro-Black? Oh yeah, when African American want to build something, they burn it. Ma'am, tell us, when did that ever happen when you were in America? I'm not saying it never happened, but a long time ago. But what's that have to do with her story? Like I said, she's now become pro-Black.
There were many, many people, many Kenyans living in Texas. I didn't stay in Texas for too long because I had something pushing me. I had something pushing me to be bigger and greater. And the love that Kenyans are supposed to have in a foreign country is not as strong as the one from Nigerians. Nigerians, when they go to America, they really hold each other's hands. And I just wish somebody would have held my hand. Somebody would have known that I'm just here alone. I don't have family in America. I just wish somebody from All Nations SDA Church,
She admires the Nigerians, how they quote unquote hold each other. Okay. But you also have to remember, you came to America on your own. You had friends, your Christian friends, remember, that brought you there. So if you had and you found you a Kenyan friend, but I guess she was too slutty for you. People, I'm not beating on her. I'm just reminding some of you that are watching that might find yourself in these situations. Listen to how this is unfolding. She's telling the story so that she can save somebody else's life. Even though some of the things she's going to try to play it off, but it's going to help you if you listen to what she's saying and me breaking it down.
Would have shown me the way. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to get permanent resident. You're supposed to do this, and I don't move from state to state. You know, I really wish that the love between Kenyans would be stronger, that we would be more united, and we would help the newcomers. So one of the big
that I know Kenyans that I personally knew. I don't know what group she came from, but those people, they help each other out. I knew a guy he's from Kenya. He was my neighbor. I have seen that guy welcome several brand new Kenyans, right in his house, showed them the way, how to get a job, how to do, register in school, the whole 9 yards. So again, those people make that contact all the way from Kenya. But you see, another thing that is true is whatever you seek, you shall find. Remember, she said about herself that she has a greater calling. See, when people give themselves self-aggrandizement, talking about how great they are, they think they have this greater cause that they have to pursue no matter what. It blinds them to reality. You can have this dream, but are you going to go about this dream logically? If she was looking for Kenyan, she found Kenyan. The Kenyan woman, remember she said that in her story? She gave you a roof over your head. How much more unity do you need? Oh, you said she was being slutty, then you decided to get slutty with her. So don't do things that you're going to regret tomorrow.
biggest mistakes that I made as a young person.
And also what she said is true. Do not move from state to state constantly. It makes no sense. When would you ever have the time to really, plant roots in one place and get a stable job or a stable business, something that you would do, consistently for at least a period of years? But moving around, like she said, I know few people who are like that, and they don't have stability. They've been in America for some 20-some years, but they keep moving from place to place, from state to state. So it only brings instability. And it's not like they're going there for jobs. They just, this place is not working. No, you are not working. There's a difference. The place is just there. You are the X factor. So let's go.
I was moving from one state to another, to another, to another. If you're in America, it's better that you stay in one place and you hang on to one job. Like I had the nursing home job, I would have just hang on to that job. But as a young person, I was chasing for some even bigger dreams. Yes, it's okay to dream, but that's one mistake that I made. I was also getting a lot of influence on now putting we've seen people with really long nails that reach here.
Now she's entering the Jezebel territory. She got She entered the long nail club and the Brazilian hair club. Now you see why she was protecting that sector, a group of people that do that, because she was one of the people. But she's teaching you what not to do. Let's hear her tell us when she shifted to the bird claws. You know those bird claws the women put on their fingers nowadays. Doesn't it look like a bird claw? Some of them, it looks so sharp. It's like witches from the West. But let's allow her to tell us.
Now I was getting Americanized. And when I was putting really, really long nails like this, I was giving a message that I'm a prostitute, when I'm not. And
Yes, exactly. Those nails, you were telling everybody that you were a prostitute. That's not American culture. You see, people, when you go to a place, sometimes you don't even learn. You think suddenly, oh, you see on TV, that's the popular culture. No, they are promoting the prostitute culture. So just because you see some ratchets who that's what they are into, they do it and you repeat it too. Or some of you watch videos, you see people sagging their pants, they're talking about killing people in videos, you think that's real American culture. No. Or gangster culture. Gangsters go to prison or die. So you don't partake in it. You focus on what brought you here instead of trying to be a prostitute or a drug dealer or a gangster for some. Let's go.
I was inviting men to come and take advantage of me. So I should have remained simple, and I want to advise you, if you are coming from the village, I don't say remain a village girl, but don't get so influenced so fast, My ears were not even pierced. Wearing earrings, I want to now wear earrings, and I want to be fake. I want fake hair because people have fake hair. I want fake nails and fake everything. That just invited doors for men to take advantage of me.
So she created this environment, but she is saying, oh, for men to take advantage of me. She knew what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was doing, but she also gave a great advice. Do not jump in the fast lane. Do not just look at them and be like, oh, I'm from the village, F the village. What these people are showing me, these are the facts. Because remember, she has a negative attitude about the village. So I can see why she's doing weird things so that she doesn't identify with the village. Because her idea of the village is witchcraft. So now doing the nails and all that, because she talked about living with that Kenyan who brings men in and out. And she said, she only touched the surface and said she started doing kind of the same. So by the time she got to doing these nails and what she's explaining, that means she's already, brought in several guys already, right? So it is safe to say she wasn't, ignorant of, sexual encounters, according to her herself. But let's continue.
For men to take advantage of me and to use me and to dump me. I'm thinking, okay, I've met, a boyfriend. If you are raised in the village, you are raised that you meet one man and you get married and that's your husband. And that's it. And so I'm meeting maybe a guy. Maybe I'm thinking, oh, this is a Kenyan guy. In fact, there was a Kenyan guy that I met. And I really thought also, after Gareth, he's really serious and he wants marriage. But no, just a week later, he was with another white woman. So those are things that would really break my heart.
So this girl was just what they call, she was playing the spaghetti noodle game. Do you want to know what the spaghetti noodle game is? taking the noodles, throwing it on the wall to see what's going to stick. Oh, the game Dirt, just throwing and not even, checking. She's seeing what is going to stick. You guys remember, her dream was the white boyfriend. She met Garrett, and, somehow she said Garrett ended up with a white woman. Let's just be real. Garrett fulfilled his fantasy of, because you listen to a lot of these, white guys on these interviews on Ghetto Gagas. They said they want to fulfill their dream to have sex with a black woman. So she's not realizing that's what happened to her. She thought she was playing him, but he played her. Don't be her. Be genuine. Then she moves from Garrett. Then she started doing the slut finger thing, doing the fingernail thing, the bird claw. And she think Emmanuel, the Kenyan guy, is going to take her serious. Go figure. So she gave up on the white knight. Now she is going back Kenyan, black. Let's go.
Because I was thinking, okay, I want to get married, I want to settle, but no, they're not thinking like that. Out of this desperation, I was looking for something I couldn't find. I thought I was looking for Kenyans, but when I found Kenyans, they didn't welcome me. So I had to go look for something else. I wasn't finding something that I was looking for. So I moved again from Dallas to New Jersey after a very short time. And I'm moving to New Jersey to pursue my dreams. And I lived in New Jersey with another lady from also Kenya, Kalenjin lady. And she was nice. She was nice. And I would go to...
By the way, this woman probably think it was the Kenyans who were the problem. But really, it's just her fighting her demons. Because I bet you those Kenyans she's talking about at the time, none of them could have told her what to do. She would say, I'm a grown woman. So most of the time, the people will leave you to make your own decisions. Does she look like the type who would have listened to any of those people? I doubt it. But again, the way she's telling her story is great because she's helping teach you something and deter you from falling victim of what she fell victim of. Let's go.
New York to do modeling. But then again, she recently called me, by the way, and she said she feels like she didn't give me the best that she could have in my situation. At this moment, I've been in America just less than 2 years, and I've already moved all these states.
Guys, can you believe that? She's been in America at the time just 2 years. Being in America for 2 years, that's nothing. You haven't even learned anything. You're still fresh. You're brand new. Especially you haven't even taken the time. Whatever state you're in, city, you haven't even studied to know that place. So within 2 years, this woman, all this has happened. So this is fast, like fast pace. Things happening to her. So make sure you remember that. Because when you come into America, you're all excited. This is how fast things can happen. And by the time you wake up, it might be too late. And we're about to learn that here.
In fact, my visa is not even expired yet. When I left North Brunswick, New Jersey, and I relocated to California, that is when everything fell apart. I was living to California because I knew I want to be a star. I want to.
Here we go. The truth comes out. She wants the light, the limelight. She moved to California to go pursue that movie dream, just like many other naive young women, not just from Kenya, but even here in America, from small towns that moved there. So the Hollywood dream. This, I'm telling you guys, this woman, within a short time, she is experienced a lot. Think about it, from Arkansas, Dallas, New Jersey, California. So she's giving you, I should say us, the full scope of her life where all these things took place. So at the end of the day, my point is individual decisions and accountability. It's not about a group. That's why when she's like, oh, the Kenyans should come together. The Kenyans are together. But are you with the Kenyans? That should be the question. Because you want to pursue the Hollywood dream. I knew with all the stories, the truth is somewhere. Let's find out how things went when she got to Hollywood.
Be an actress. I want to be in the big movies. I want to be singing. My first arrival at Hollywood was shock because I thought I would see all the stars, the Beyonce walking and Lupita Nyong'o. I just thought, you would see many stars, Brad Pitt, but it wasn't like that. You just see some stars drawn on the ground.
The thing that fooled many Africans, let me show you, when they see real movie actors, they think everybody can live that glamour. Let me show you an example of a very well put short movie clip. All right. So people, imagine this. So someone sees this, they're like, oh, I also want to live that life. I know some of you are going to be like, that's you, Afridamus. It's an example. You're sitting there, you're watching, all this Hollywood thing. You're like, oh, I'm about to live my dream. That's what happened to her. Respect the Motherland said, Hollywood dream is not really. It's all about sex, drugs, alcohol. It's a trap to young teenagers. You are absolutely correct, which she's about to let us know. KBM said, being from that area, almost 100% of these women get into LGBT, women of the streets, and of course, drugs. You're both right on point. But let's find out if, she resisted that. Because we know even when she was in Arkansas, she already, traveled the Jezebel lane. So now she seeked out the land of the Jezebels. So nobody trafficked her there. So we can't say she's a victim. So what you can learn from that, you could transport yourself to your, downfall or into your own nightmare. But again, nobody can get you out of it but yourself.
So I actually went to an acting class. I now stopped working in the nursing home because I was now like, I want to be a star. I worked in the nursing home for a while. I was now doing home health care, where I would go and live with a patient in their house and help them with everything that they need. And I met some guy online and he told me I'm very beautiful.
So even after she infected someone else's computer, traveling in that plenty of fish sea, it didn't stop her. She still went on plenty of fish. Let's find out the guy she met while in Hollywood.
And I can make a lot of money. And I said, how? And he said, I can do strip dancing. So
a stripper. So you guys see how she's about to, her life is about to turn upside down. By the way, I ran into some girl many years ago. She's from Kenya too. She says she's an accountant by day and a stripper by night. So, I mean, some of these Kenyan women are pretty wild Africans. They're usually pretty wild. So, not all, but, you know, the ones I've seen. Let's go.
I said, I can never, ever, ever do that. You know, I still had the SD in me. I would never, ever do that. And I swore I would never do that no matter what.
She went to Hollywood. That's what happens there. She's online. Everything she's told us, she's now saying she would never, ever be a stripper. But she was asking, how can she make that money? How? Anytime you got to ask that, it means the devil is in the details. And yes, KBM, you're right. The Cure said, Afridamus, you love yourself. You're right. Absolutely, I do.
But after some time, when I ended up homeless, I saw a magazine and I went to a strip club and I started strip dancing. Strip dancing was paying well. I would make like 40,000 Kenya shillings in a day.
Again, Africans, you have to get, when you're in America, get out of multiplying the money to your currency in your country. It's not the same thing. Just because it's 40,000 there, it's not 40,000 US dollars here. So you guys see what happened here. So she met a guy online, according to her, tried to get her to be a stripper, but then she says she would never ever be a stripper. But then she became homeless. And then, boom, guess what? She found a magazine and became a stripper. But mind you, she says she had a job, like nursing home care job. There are many Africans that do that and pay their bills. How did she become homeless? She could do 2 jobs. But that's strange. So someone tried to introduce you to stripping. You said you would never, ever do that. But somehow you were able to just casually become one. I find that fascinating. What do you think? I'm just saying, you know, just to think about it in another way. But let's hear her tell us.
But then it came with its price also.
The bottom line to me is she was looking for fast money. Bingo. Bingo.
Because after I stripped, I would have so many guys talking me. Like even when I left the strip club, I would have guys. They had a policy of no sex in the strip club. They had surveillance cameras everywhere. So we would just strip, yeah. And I remember then somebody came and told me, no, you can't make money stripping in Hollywood. You need to go strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where you will get paid. Like $400 is nothing. So there's always this thing that you're getting money, but you're not satisfied with it. You can make even $5,000 per day in Las Vegas.
She is totally about the money. She wants the fast money. She's chasing the money. So let's be real. Most Africans are they're just gonna get jobs, work their way, go to school to get to where they need to get to. This is not the experience. So she is chasing the money. She wants to achieve that dream, not through just regular work. If she can get it in the movies, she is willing to get naked for it. So let's find out how the stripping goes in Vegas.
So I left Los Angeles one day with my friend from the island, and we went to Las Vegas. As soon as we arrived in Las Vegas, there were some guys with a limousine, yeah? Free limo ride to the strip club, free limo ride. I was like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true.
You're right. You went there to become a high-end stripper, and your first move, a limo pulled up and they said, free limo ride to the strip club. Yes, I agree. Your dreams are coming true. You didn't have to look for the strip club. They are looking for you. So let's go. I've been to Vegas plenty of times. The place, just because the glamour, the shine, don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. So she's about to take us through the journey. Let's go.
So I got in the limo. I'd never gotten in a limousine inside in my whole life. So I got in the limo and they took us to the strip club. As they were taking us, this guy was telling me, this guy was an African born in Europe. And he was telling me, you know, you can make a lot of money. You know, it was always the chase for money. You can make a lot of money. And
so I guess some African born in Europe, whichever country, she ran into him. He enticed her with money. You know, let's not forget, she was there for the money, right? So at first, her dream was to come to America. She kept following that dream. She ran into a con man who was running a program. He brought her and was able to get his use out of her to sell books. So looks like throughout the way, they sense her desperation and they give her what she's desperate for. They throw the hook and she bites. And unfortunately, she's saying that's the experience in America. No, that's just the experience anywhere. When you become desperate, you will find people that's all they need. Desperate people to further whatever agenda they have. So you will find that, especially in Las Vegas and Hollywood.
I have a lot of clients who come to the casinos in Las Vegas and they are looking for black girls. You know, in America, it's very hard to find real black girls. The African Americans, they are very light, almost white.
Okay, I think this is what she means, just in case you don't know. So this is what she means. Like this guy here, he's considered black. See? You guys see it. He's considered black. But again, I don't believe that. I do not believe it. Do you know, I have seen plenty of African American, like she said, or black American, who are even darker than her, as dark as her. But the guy knows she is naive. She's one of the naive ones. Especially she's from a foreign country. It's easy to dupe her. Even though I showed you this video to this man looking white, even if I show this to most black people in America, literally in America, and say they're white, they were like, man, what the hell, man? Man, you better get this out of my face. That's just TV black. TV black, okay? There are some who would go for it. But no, they do have dark skin, black American. And, you know, as black as the ace of spades. But they are from America. Their ancestors. I mean, yeah, you guys get the point. Long time from Africa. But they've been here a long time. And they're still very dark skinned. So they duped her on that. But let's go.
He was telling me, you know, people are tired of white girls. There are some people who come specifically and they want a real black girl. So I can introduce you. And he was saying, these people, they even pay you $5,000 per shot, like to have sex with you, $5,000. $500,000 to have sex with you. I was like, yeah, sure, I'm in, you know. So I remember that I went to his house.
So, mind you, so at this point, can we say sex trafficking? We cannot. Because mind you, she transported herself to all these places. And she's a willing participant. She heard 5,000. She fell for it. She believed that somebody's going to pay 5,000 to have sex. I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to do that somewhere. But I highly doubt they would do that in Vegas. But either way, she heard $5,000 and she's like, I'm in. I'm in. They're like, man, we can't believe how dumb and naive this woman is. But let's go.
This guy's name was, his friend name was Richie, and his name is disappearing. But I went to his house, and when I went to his house in Las Vegas, he had a lot of clothes for women. He was a pimp. You know, a pimp is somebody who sells women. And he told me, okay, so I'm going to introduce you to this business because there is prostitution and there is high-end prostitution.
So she ran into a pimp. Looks like her dreams are beginning to really come true. She found her a pimp. That's why in my thumbnail, there's a pimp there with his women. And you know, Vegas, there's no shortages of pimps. They said, seek and you shall find. And that's what she was seeking, and she found it. Here we go.
I'm going to introduce you to very high-end prostitution. So I said, okay, me, I'm ready. And
They were introducing her to high-end prostitution, and you guys heard her. She said, me, I'm ready. She was ready for it.
he gave me clothes, very beautiful clothes. He took me to the salon. He did my hair. He said he did my hair in a simple ponytail. And he gave me some perfumes from Victoria's Secret. And he dressed me. He said high-end prostitutes, they don't dress shaggy. They dress like normal people. And he told me you have to be very familiar with everything on the news so that when a client wants to talk about politics, about celebrities, about sports, about everything, you have to read and you have to be very smart. So I remember that the whole day, this guy was taking me around Las Vegas, and it was just, Las Vegas, by the way, is beautiful. It's beautiful. He was taking me to very high-end clubs, and he's saying, when you get here in this club, what you have to do is just, you sit and you smile. And because you don't drink, you just can order some water and put it in a glass and pretend that you are drinking. So it was now time.
So now you know, when you go to some of those clubs and you see some black lady looking like her, just smiling at you, that she's just smiling because she's being nice. No, she's playing high-end prostitute, like she said. So that's one of the criteria. So when she's smiling, now you know. But let's continue. Because some of you are like, oh, the nice lady, black lady with the accent. Well, she's a high-end prostitute. But here we go.
To go put action into practice.
You mean the one that's dressed like a school teacher? Yes, she's not a principal. She might be the principal prostitute, but not at a school. But let's go.
Practice. And he told me to wait for him at Paris Hotel in Las Vegas. So there was live music playing, and he tried to call me, but I didn't hear the phone ringing. He came and he was like, when I call you, you have to be very alert. So this is my first day for high-end prostitution. First day at work. So on the first day at work.
So first day on work, her boss, the pimp, called her. She didn't pick up. And, you know, these pimps, have you seen, you know, they have strong hand, meaning they put powder in their hand and slap these women that they put on the street. So they don't play. You know, like once they sign whatever verbal contract, they put this woman on the block, she better deliver. Especially she's not answering the phone. Pimps don't put up with that. They don't play that game. She didn't understand what kind of job she found herself in.
He called again, yeah. I picked up the phone. When I picked up the phone, there were 2 white guys from Chicago. And the first thing they said, wow, you smell very good. Oh my God, you smell so good. That's the client's first comment. And I'm like, thank you. Oh my God, and I love your accent. Where are you from? And I'm from Kenya. That's beautiful. Wow, we wanted a black girl. We can have some fun. It turned out that these guys were smoking a lot of cigarettes. We went to their hotel, by the way. They were smoking so many cigarettes that I was uncomfortable. They were asking me, what is your price? I said, 5,000.
So people, a lot of the things that was in the dark for most of us, we are learning. So that's why I say don't identify as the flat black skin. Because you see some black people, you don't understand them. It's just the skin color. You don't know what they are doing. You don't even understand how these people think. But to you, you're like, oh, they're black, I'm black. Therefore we all are thinking alike. No. Like, you see, because I used to always wonder, like, I'm like, why do they complain and say, oh, these white people are racist for doing ghetto gagas? I said, but are you going to hold the women accountable, the ones that willingly participate? And I've always questioned, I said, where are they possibly from? What is their background? What motivates them? Because they know this is going to be out there. What is motivating them? But mostly, I want to understand who they are, their background. What are they thinking? They are thinking dead presidents, meaning money. Nothing else. No ideology behind it. Money. Period.
$1,000. They laughed at me. They were like, who's going to pay you $5,000? And as we were still talking, the pimp was calling again. Hello, where are you? There's another client. You're supposed to go inside, have sex, get your money, get out. There's no time for discussion. There's no time for nothing. Yeah? And
But you see, the pimp is wrong. The pimp taught her in the orientation that she got to know subjects and stuff. But the pimp is like, you got to be in and out fast. You see what you can end up finding yourself in? Oh, so in the nursing home, every now and again, some crazy old man called you, nigger. So you think that's worse than having, Pimp C as your boss. Okay, let's continue.
Village girl. How am I going to go? And they wanted me to have sex with them, 2 guys. Yeah, 2 guys at the same time. I said, that's something I cannot do. So when, what is his name, is Ray or what? These guys, when they had the pimp was calling, they were scared. They said, you have to go right now. We didn't even have sex. They said, you have to go right now because these pimp people, they are bad. They can shoot and kill us right now. So I went back to the pimp. I was like, where's the money? There's no money. You can't be serious. Huh? You didn't even turn out that trick. It's called turning a trick.
Hey, do you guys think the pimp was black? What do you think? Do you think her pimp was black? Put it in the chat. If the white guys are getting scared, do you think the pimp was black?
Okay, so the second time, he called me, I didn't pick up. He said, okay, you have to go home and rest. We'll bring you back tomorrow. But the next morning, his friend Rishi came and started insulting me. He was like, you have to go now. You have to get out of my friend's house. You can't even turn a trick. What is wrong with you? Huh? You're useless. You're not helping us with anything. And it was just the second day. I stayed with this guy one day until he wanted to rape me. So he concluded that I cannot be a prostitute. So he wanted me now for himself. And I said no again. And he said, I'm very, very unfair. He started chasing me and I ran all the way to the casinos. And what is interesting is that the same day, I said I'm going to practice because I didn't even have now
Guys, do you how, this woman came straight, and she somehow she's practicing hood culture very, very well. I guess her village prepared her for the hood culture she's practicing in Vegas. Have you thought about that? Because this would be strange to most Africans you meet in the States. But she got the hood culture down pat better than even the hood people here in America. But let's go.
Bus fare to go back to California. I have no house in Las Vegas, but in California, I'm living in a homeless shelter. So I said, I have to turn a trick now.
You see, I understand why some of the blacks get mad. So she's living in a homeless shelter, taking some FBA homeless spot, some FBA person who, refused to take advantage of the American pie, the American opportunity, let themselves be homeless. But still, just because they're homeless in their country doesn't mean some Kenyan woman should come here with the dream of being a prostitute and taking their spot in the homeless shelter. I am totally with the FBA people on that. They shouldn't be, losing a spot to some Kenyan immigrant in the homeless shelter. But that's what I can see the point there. But let's continue.
So that I can get my bus fare back to California. So I remember that I went to, again, Paris Hotel in Las Vegas. And there was a white guy there, and I said, excuse me, can I sit next to you? I said, no problem at all. He was so drunk. He had a tattoo called In Bob We Trust. Anyway, Bob ended up promising me that he's going to take me to New York, and he's going to make me a movie star, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You can imagine.
The usual, the usual story. They would make them movie stars. Let's see how Bob does. Like these white guys, some of them are the real pimps. So Bob smelled desperation on her. Bob is like, shoot, I can trick her. And that's what Bob's about to do.
Imagine all the lies. I went back to California, and that is when I got arrested now. So I was a volunteer for Barack Obama campaign, yeah? The very first campaign was 2008. But I used to not to want to anybody to know that the situation that I...
So Obama did not even help his Kenyan relatives?
I was in. This thing called pride. We Luo people are so bad with something called pride. During Barack Obama campaign, I met a lot of people who could help me, but I was simply too proud to tell them what I was going through. I even saw Oprah Winfrey at UCLA with Michelle Obama. I was volunteering, sometimes write people's names. Barack Obama used to hold a lot of fundraisings at Dorothy Chandler Pavilion in downtown LA. So I was always one of the volunteers, writing the names down of the people coming. There would be musicians, Alicia Keys, Neo, so many of them. I even was hanging out with Snoop Dogg very closely. But because these people are so high, I wanted to feel like I'm so high. They used to ask me, what do you do for a living? And I would be like, I'm a Kenyan music producer. Sometimes if you are in a situation, it's good to simply humble yourself and ask for help. So I was too proud to let anybody know that I'm suffering in a homeless shelter. I was coming from a homeless shelter, but I was lying to these people. I was lying to Snoop Dogg. I even had a conversation one-on-one with Snoop Dogg, and I was lying to Snoop Dogg that I'm a Kenyan film producer and I'm a homeless girl, a homeless bitch in Los Angeles. So that is one of my biggest regrets. I met many opportunities, but I didn't utilize them or maximize them. I used to lie that I am somebody that I'm not. Because you don't want to say you are in America and you're going through something hard. because people at home, they want you to send them money. So you want to keep up sending money, even if you are stripping naked, you know, to send people.
So she chose to strip, right? To pursue her own dream. But again, what she said was, she lies about her life. She presents a picture of herself that she is not. So there are many Africans that do that. You run into them, they tell you lies about their story, and it eventually comes and bite them. So she's just straight, like you guys said, something is wrong with her. I don't know what's wrong with her, but you can see she created her own nightmare. Her own nightmare. She created it.
Money. You just want to send people money. Even if you are being used, being abused, even if you are doing pornography, even if you are doing whatever you have to do.
Did she do porn too? Do you guys think she did porn? Yes, Audrey, she needs exorcism. You know, like, because subconsciously she's telling us all the things she's been through. The rest of us don't have to strip or be in porn. Most of us work. So did she do all this to send that money back to Kenya? But it's not about the money, because obviously it sounds like she wasn't making any, because she lives in a homeless shelter. So she couldn't be making money for sure. I mean, come on, let's get real. Some might say, oh, she probably just didn't say it, but nah. Dunstan say, porn pays the bills, don't knock it. Dunstan, if you want to be in porn, more power to you, but I wouldn't advise anyone to be in porn or even watch it. Makes no sense.
We are lowering ourselves simply to maintain the image and for everybody to think that we are okay.
Dunstan, have you been in porn before? Because she's saying porn pays the bills. So if you've been in porn, put it in the chat. Let's know if you have.
When you're not, yeah. So if you are in America and you are going through a lot, you know, it's shameful to ask for people money at home. But sometimes you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. So I would just urge you that even if you have a family that is in their need, you know, you grew up in Kenya, God has always taken care of them. Don't hurt yourself to help your family. Just try to help yourself first. Try to be stable first. I know how much you love your family, but just help yourself, and then you can be in a better position to help people. And people at home should understand that if somebody is overseas and they're not helping you, probably they're not in a position to help you yet. Because there's nobody who would wish for their family to suffer if they're...
So, good advice. The Africans that put pressure on you, you shouldn't allow them to put pressure on you. Because some of you might be like, oh, they're the reason why I did X, Y, and Z. No, take charge of your own life. Help you, and that would help you help other people. She is absolutely correct about that. Dunstan said, I'm auditioning next week, fam. That's funny. That's funny.
feeling well. So both sides need to understand. So I was arrested one day when I was coming from Obama campaign, and I found mail in my inbox. They have boxes with each room's name. The mail was from home, and I definitely knew it was a video of my father's funeral because my father had died when I was in the US and I couldn't come to the funeral. I was now out of status. And so I asked my family to film a video for me of the burial. So when I got mail from home, I knew for a fact that it's my father's funeral. And I remember knocking on the door of the homeless shelter staff, and they were laughing. This is what really hurt me the most. This is what made me do what I did. Because I found them watching a video of my father's funeral. And I said, excuse me, why are you doing this? And they started laughing, and then they banged the door to my face. And when I said, excuse me, open the door, give me my mail, they burst out laughing even louder. And their names are Elizabeth Olguins and Kendra Shepherd. Kendra Shepard is an African American. Elizabeth Olguins is a Hispanic lady.
Somehow, the blacks and the Hispanics somehow gave her hell. So let's find out what Kendra and Louisa did.
So the laughter is what irritated me, and I took the charcoal lighter fluid and I poured it on the carpet. The reason why I poured this charcoal lighter fluid on the carpet was to get their attention, to get out and give me my mail. Because when I was banging the door, it was funny and they were laughing. They were laughing at my father being buried. So I didn't light the charcoal lighter fluid to kill people or to burn. I wanted to get their attention. You know, in African culture, fire was a form of communication.
Here we go. You know how the Africans say, in my culture. Okay, in America, in your culture, you're using the fire to communicate, huh? But in America, when you light the fire, it means you want to burn people down. It's not to say hello. So here we go with the village again. She is committing crime that she's not even realizing that how serious this will be. But let's find out how this communication ends.
And so in my head and my mind, I wanted to communicate a message, get out and give me my mail. So they got out, they turned the fire off with a sweatshirt. I wish I brought my police reports. They have been brought to me in my Nairobi house. I have them now in the house in Nairobi. They turned the fire off with a hooded sweatshirt and I was arrested and taken to Los Angeles County Jail. Initially, I was taken for unlawfully causing a fire, which is punishable by 6 months in jail.
Audrey said, oh, it's this mad B-I-T-C-H. She's cleaned up well. She looked much crazier in the last video I saw of her. Oh, so Audrey, you know her, huh? Okay. Audrey says she has music videos on YouTube. And yes, she did porn. Exactly. I wasn't surprised. So let's find out about her experience. She was just trying to communicate through the fire. Didn't I tell you guys that she might have been the one with the black magic spirit? She was the one that was possessed. Now it's all coming out. Let's go.
When I went to court the first time, the charge was upgraded to arson 451B, which is willfully and maliciously starting a fire with intention to kill people. But because there was no evidence that my intention was to kill people, they added more false charges. They said, when she was lighting the fire, she said, I will burn this place down and kill you. And I said I didn't, because if I did, it would be in the police report, it would be in the fire department report, it would be on the 911 call, it would be anywhere, but it wasn't. It just popped in court. So because I was alone in court, no witnesses on my side, the charges stuck. And I want to point out that the Kenyan embassy was a big letdown to me when I was in jail, because I would call, either they would not pick up, I would call, they were not picking up. They were the only family I had in America. And I think these are some of the reasons why they have the embassies. I would call, nobody would pick up. When they pick up, they would be like, excuse me, but you are in jail? Okay, call us tomorrow. So after the Kenyan embassy refused to pick up my call.
You set the place on fire. You set fire there. And the Kenyan embassy is like, shit, she crazy. We can't help you. Get rid of her. They're trying to find a way for the white people to send you back so they don't have to deal with you.
They kept telling me to call the day or the day after and Friday and the likes. I wrote a letter to Honorable Raila Odinga and he received my letter. And his sister came to visit me. His sister is named Kenyan Odinga. And during the visit, she asked, how can she help me? And I said, get me a lawyer. The lawyer I have is not helping me. But the day that she got me the lawyer that the lawyer was supposed to take over, I was accused of being mentally incompetent to stand trial. So they said I'm crazy and
Who didn't see that coming? So in America, you go, you pissed off at somebody, you're in a homeless shelter, you knock on the door, they didn't open, and you take lighter fluid, pour it on the carpet, and set it on fire. You are surprised the verdict that came from the doctors or the court. The verdict is you are crazy. Why is she surprised by this? You're showing up for this crime alone in court? Big mistake.
They postponed the case for 90 days and the lawyer never took over. And so I fought alone in the county jail for 18 months, going through so much abuse in the county jail, the police kicking me with their boots, being stripped naked. And something I've never said before in any of the interviews is that it's always so humiliating in America, going to court and coming back. Every time you have to go to court, you have to strip, they strip you naked, and you have to spread your vagina. Every single time you come from court again, you strip naked, because there are people who are hiding drugs inside their private parts. So that is like something that is so humiliating, because you have to do it in front of everybody, in front of the police. They have to search you. They even have a spotlight inside you. One of the most terrible experiences I ever went through. But after 18 months, I was taken to trial. And
guys, you are hearing this. So some Africans would say, oh man, I would rather be in American jail. What she's giving you the full review of her experience in an American jail.
Convicted of arson, 451B, criminal threats, count 1, criminal threats, count 2. And Judge Kathleen Kennedy sentenced me to 5 years in prison. Many people are asking me, who is the lawyer who was letting you down? His name is Tracy Grayson. That's the African-American lawyer who just made a big mess out of my life. I served 5 years in prison.
The black lawyer. They got her a black lawyer. Maybe that was an affirmative action lawyer. Hey, at least the black lawyer tried. You showed up alone and the black lawyer came, tried to get you out. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
And the day of my release, I was taken again to immigration jail. Yeah, so on the day of my release, I was really happy. Everybody is always so happy, to go back. I know I'm going to have a fresh start. But I know that I can do it, because in the back of my mind, I really know I'm not a criminal. I really know that somebody pushed me to do what I did. Somebody violated my rights. So I know I'm not a criminal, and I know that I can make it again, and I want a second chance, and I don't want to be deported with nothing. And I'm being told, put your hands behind your back. And more chains again. I'm being taken to the county jail. And now I'm like, no way again. I've served 5 years. What?
Yep, that's what happens when you get locked up in America. You're not a U.S. citizen. After you serve your jail time, you get deported back to your country. So, yeah. Audrey said, she said the black American lawyer hated her. He fed up her case. He messed up her case on purpose because he hates African immigrants. Guys, are you surprised by that? Oh, maybe it was just an affirmative action lawyer. But what she said, the black American did it on purpose because he hates Africans. I wouldn't be surprised by that. If you're surprised, write it down. But I can also see the lawyer being fed up, like, okay, I can't believe how stupid she is. Can't you see the lawyers like, what's wrong with this woman? It's hard to defend it. So she needed a different kind of lawyer for this one.
Wrong. Can I just now be free? So At the county jail, I have to be my own lawyer because they don't give you a lawyer in the county jail. So I had to read their laws. I tried to defend myself, but the immigration judge denied all my applications and ordered that I should be deported. I tried to appeal the decision. The appeal was not even heard. So I said, I'm going to go on a hunger strike because I have tried to communicate with these people through all languages that I can. But there I wrote so many letters when I was incarcerated. I wrote so many letters to the judges telling them, I didn't do this. Please just give me a chance. I'm sorry. I wrote so many letters to President Barack Obama in the White House. I don't know if he ever received any of them. I wrote so many letters to anybody who could listen. To the judges, like nobody was listening to me. Nobody was giving me an ear. So I said, okay, let me go on a hunger strike so that at least they can hear me. So I went on a hunger strike for 2 months. I didn't eat anything, not even water, until they put some things, solid food with pipes. They put some pipes on my nose and they were feeding me with my nose. And one day they just came and said, you're going to cooperate or you're taking you by force. And I just said, take me by force. And they pulled the things out of my nose and they threw me on a stretcher. I was too weak to even walk, to even stand. I was really weak because I had not eaten for 2 months. And
Yes. So you guys see, she got her black street creds. She got locked up. She served not only jail time, she served prison time. So you guys, now did you see why it made sense? Because she went and had her black indoctrination in prison. But in another breath, she's saying her black American lawyer messed her up. So with her, I don't know. Everybody is everyone's fault. So it's not different to me than how she's, accusing even this black lawyer, to be quite honest.
And just in the hospital gown, basically naked, I was put in the aeroplane, big military aeroplane. And I was deported to Kenya with nothing, nothing. So when we get to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, they were now embarrassed that I was naked. So they were trying to force me to wear jail clothes at the airport. And I said, no way. So I started to scream at the very top of my lungs. I was screaming until the airport police, the Kenyan airport police came and told them, don't touch me anymore. They called the Red Cross people. The Red Cross people came and the Red Cross people really...
Look, you guys don't understand. America might be crazy, but when they see your potential, you're crazier than the regular American. Look, they're like, look, we understand. If Pookie and Ray Ray is crazy, we can't do anything about them because we created them. But with you, oh, hell no, we taking you back to where you came from. The point is, yeah, after you serve that time and you're not an American citizen, they will send you back. Bye-bye. You can try hunger strike. You can try everything. You see, she tried the hunger strike. They fed her through tubes to show how determined they were to kick her out. Because, who wants to keep somebody in their country who communicates through fire, by setting fire? Remember, I told you guys she might be the one that is possessed. So let's go.
Harassed the immigration officers until the immigration officers said it's the Kenyan embassy that gave them permission to deport me. So they were like, if it was this bad, why did the Kenyan people issue travel documents? We would have just let her out on the seat, but the Kenyan embassy said we should take her home because she has a family here at home. My fears about returning to Kenya, because that would have been a very good option when I got arrested before serving my prison sentence, before serving the 5 years.
So in a way that people are saying, oh, even the black lawyer messed up her case. Put yourself in the black person's shoes. As crazy as she is with her craziness, they're gonna hurt her behavior as one of the blacks, that the blacks did it. So can you blame a black cleaning up their own country? Because what she did was crazy. So whether the person is white or black, would you blame a black person saying, "Nah, get rid of this crazy Kenyan"? You can't say they're wrong for that. Proud Eritrean said, "Now I see why FBA are anti-immigrant." Okay.
If you knew you were going to get to deport me, deportation alone is enough punishment. Yeah, it's more than enough punishment. So my fear was like, how am I going home with nothing? To nothing. My mom is dead. My brother is dead. My father is dead. My sisters are just looking to me. My sister had to drop out of school at one point because I'm the one who was paying her school fees and I got arrested. I have nowhere to go to. Basically, I have no money to start a business. I have nothing. So that was my biggest fear, coming back to Kenya with nothing. Nobody wants to come back home with nothing. I was taken to Mata Hospital, and my brother came. By the way, when he arrived, he thought I was dead. He was crying because I was covered with a white bed sheet all the way over my face. So my brother was crying, and I just opened the bed sheet. I was very weak, but I was not dead, obviously. I opened the bed sheet and I said, "Ben, I'm not dead. I'm alive." So he stopped crying, and I just told him to give me some fish. And after that, I went to his house, and I stayed with him for a while. And then I went to the village to stay with my oldest sister. And they just wanted me to go back and finish school. I never finished university education.
Proud Eritrean said, did she think about her parents when she was hanging with Garrett? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that.
But I was like, I want my own income. I don't want to be a student now. I'm approaching my 30s. So I just went to Mombasa to hustle. I went to start selling water on the streets, on Mama Ngina Street. And I would tell people in Mama Ngina, I used to be in America. People would be like, "You're lying, no way." Because in Mama Ngina, I didn't even have 10 shillings to buy a banana. I would my rent was, I was sharing a bed sitter for 800 shillings with somebody.
Yeah, it would be hard for those people to believe you because over there, they see the Americans coming. They have no problem spending $10. You don't even have $10. So they're like, "Nah, we can't believe it." Guys, now you see some of you that say, "Oh, you're going to go to Africa broke." Now you see why. Because the Africans will discriminate against you. And in a rightful way. Why are you showing up broke to them? Because you already know a lot of people are broke over there. Why you got to, add up to the broke people's number? So over there, she's in Mombasa where maybe many foreign people come to Americans. Those people see the Americans balling. Now you come in over there, you can't even pay your rent. Yeah, I can see why they don't believe you.
But I couldn't even come up with the 400 shillings in a month to pay my share of the rent. I didn't even have food, and I'm from America. I would even just admire a banana, and I don't have 10 shillings to buy a banana. So I said, whatever happens, I have to happen. So I would give my ID, take some water, and sell it all on the streets. And then I added groundnuts. So I would fry groundnuts and sell it on Mama Ngina. And one day I posted my story online on Craigslist. Yeah, you remember Craigslist is an American website that is also in Kenya.
Yeah, we know. We know Craigslist. You can post a whole lot of things there. Hey, if there's anything she learned in America, she is mastered how to post on these websites. Yeah, Craigslist. On Craigslist, they don't only post cars and furnitures. There are many other things you could post there. Just want to point that out. The Kio said she was lucky she came out of the whole ordeal alive. She had an opportunity to make something of herself, but greed and looking for fast money in all the wrong places messed her up. You are absolutely correct.
And when I posted my story, several guys responded. I posted it like on a dating session. Many white people responded. And I responded to this one guy who was an American in the country. And he said he was living at 4 Points Hotel on Hurlingham, if I can go meet him there. So I went from Mombasa, where I was selling water, and I went to meet him. Okay, when I went to meet Ken, the first question he asked me was, why were you arrested? Because in the story, I didn't indicate why I was arrested. And I just told him I was arrested for arson. And he said, if you had lied to me, you would have gone back to Mombasa right now. He said, I'm a police officer in the US. And I said, if you're a police officer in the US, then why do you want me? You know, I'm a terrorist in your country. Why do you want to even meet me? And
Wait. Was the guy there for the story or wanting her? Lines are blurry, but we'll let her shine some light on it. We'll let her do it.
Ken said that I've been a police officer for over 20 years, and I've read everything that was in your court reports. And I wanted to meet you because I know those things are not necessarily true. I know how we write reports. And I know that you're not who they are saying you are. So that's why I wanted to meet you, because I know everything there is not true. Because I have written similar reports for people. I know.
But if she went to prison for arson, and she herself is admitting to it, she says she set fire, then are they lying? Setting fire in the criminal charging sheet is called arson. So attempted murder, again, they can add that there, because if that fire got out of hand, you could have killed those people. But I don't know how this is still not clicking.
How we treat black people in my country. So Ken is the one who started to change my life a little bit. He rented for me a house, he opened for me a small place, small restaurant in Dagoretti Corner. And is when my life started to change a little bit. And then Ken went back to his country and he died.
Okay. Ken, guys, you see a pattern here? From the beginning of this story, everyone involved with her in Kenya, they all die. Maybe that's where the spiritual power is. Like, no, seriously though, go, if you're just joining me, go back and watch the video. Ken, the brother, the mama, Ken also died. What is going on? Seems like all these people that come around, they die. Okay. Just noticing something unusual.
Heart attack. So I was back again to zero. After Ken died, you know, the white guy who was now supporting me, I got very desperate, you know. And I met a bouncer in a club, the father of my babies. I was now so desperate, like, because I tried to have a baby with Ken, but it didn't happen.
So I told you guys it was blurry. She says she tried to have baby with Ken. So Ken was her romantic interest. So now she found her a bouncer, a Kenyan bouncer. Let's see how that goes.
And I started dating him. Just
Proud Eritreans, are we in danger for watching this video? Man, I'm beginning to get worried myself now. Jeez.
out of desperation. And I know I'm sharing this because many people are asking, where's your children's father, you know? And many women fall into this trap when you are desperate to just anybody that comes. So my children's father was a bouncer. As soon as he met me, he stopped working. He just now wanted to depend on me and wanted to control me and beat me. And I was like, no.
So this club guys, she met the bouncer. Do you guys think she was selling water at the club? How did she meet this bouncer? In Arkansas, she was desperate. In California, desperate. In Vegas, desperate. Kenya, desperate. It's all desperation. So she's definitely a harlot. For sure. The bouncer is like, I'm quitting my job. So she trapped him in many words. Because she said she was trying to trap the white man, but he died. Shit, he resisted it so much. He's like, God, just take me out. The Kenyan bouncer, he didn't take heed to the message. But here we go.
So I said, I'm going to be a single mom and I'm going to raise my kids. Whether you are here or you're not there. And maybe somebody's going to tell him wherever. But he's tried to come back, by the way, since I got to the limelight. Now saying, I want to see my kids that you have never even sent 10 shillings to. So there is...
Guys, doesn't she sound like one of those hood rappers who are pissed off at their baby daddy? Oh, now I'm in the limelight. He's just going to try to come back. So she's trying to one-up this bouncer guy. The Cure said, you're talking about Mombasa, it's a heaven for prostitution. Here we go. Exactly. So you think she got back there and retired? She did not retire. So now she's trying to one-up, Mr. Mzunguzi, the bouncer. But let's go.
No chance at all that that we'll get back together. And if you're a woman there, you're vulnerable, maybe just because you have kids, that doesn't mean that your life is over. You can still start afresh. You can still raise your kids, you know. If you are married and you're happy.
She's a strong black woman, strong, independent, black Kenyan woman. She don't need no man. She's a strong black woman now. I mean, she ran the streets she started out from a village to some of the largest cities we happen to know in the world. So she's got this game down pat. I mean, she's conquered the Mecca. She went to pilgrimage in Vegas, the Mecca of the prostitutes. So she's definitely graduated. So in Mombasa, I heard that's like the Vegas of the East African area there. Think about it. Of all the places, why did she choose the Mecca, the similar one to Las Vegas? People tend to move to areas that support their line of work. So I don't think she was just selling just any mere water in Mombasa. It might be holy water. It might be holy water.
I'm very happy for you, But if it doesn't work out, like for me, it didn't work out, just pick up yourself and do whatever it takes. God, if you have kids, God cannot let you suffer with the kids. You will never sleep hungry. You will never go on the streets. So as I conclude this story, the biggest lesson I've learned is as long as you're breathing, as long as you're still alive, there's something that maybe some mission that you have to accomplish. I honestly never knew that I would be the one who lived to tell my own story. I honestly believed I would die in America. Even in my head, I would plan my funeral. I would see my body being transported home. I would see the politicians now talking about my story as if they care. By the way, no politician has reached out to me, no known figure. So I'm not endorsing any politician at all. But I would actually imagine my funeral. And I would imagine people saying my story and people lying, maybe I'm a criminal. So it's even a miracle that I'm alive and I'm here to tell my own stories. People ask me, why are you happy? I'm happy because I never, in my wildest dreams, thought I would tell my story. I honestly thought somebody else would be telling my story. So if you're still alive and no matter what you are going through, please just don't give up. Yeah. Just don't give up, because if God has still given you life, if you are still breathing, maybe God has a plan. Things may seem dark, like it's the end of life, but if you are still alive, don't take your life, don't kill yourself. Just get up and start again, because God has a plan for you.
She is correct about that. No matter what, you gotta give it to her. She is definitely a fighter. She doesn't quit. I mean, we don't know her that well. Me, Pas, I don't know her that well, but from her story, it might not head in the way she wanted to head to, but she's definitely a fighter. That we gotta give it to her.
And thanks to many, many Kenyans, by the way, through Jalango, many Kenyans contributed money to me, and I have been able to open a restaurant. So I want to welcome you, to come to Motherland. I named Motherland because Motherland is Africa. I hope.
Is this a vegetarian restaurant? I'm just curious. Or a burger joint?
That it can be a place of solace for everybody, whether you are big or small. I still have a long way to go, but I know that everything will be okay. And there are people who have been supporting you. If you still want to support me, feel free. I still want to pay the restaurant rent for at least 6 months, because I still need more furniture. If you want to donate for me furniture for the restaurant, I still need quite a few things. But I'm really thankful to God and to many Kenyans who have already stepped up, and I have reached this far. Actually, I never believed, and I took a while to share my story because I knew nobody would believe me. Yeah, because people would just be like, you went to America, that's your own fault. You lost the opportunity. And I'm sure people would have judged me. I think what changed everything is the George Floyd story. When he was killed, people changed their perspective about America. Now people are listening. I'm just really happy. I'm happy for the support I'm receiving from many Kenyans. But people are thinking like I'm a millionaire now. No, not yet. Let's keep praying by God's grace that I will get.
She's still fighting, trying to fight for that money. But KBR, I'm gonna drop the link for just quick 15 minutes, not more. I want to hear what some of you will say. Give me a second. All right, I have the link there, KBM, and whoever want to add on to it real quick. We got 14 minutes before the end of the show. So if you wanna come in and add on to what she said. But long story short, guys, she definitely laid out her, her experience, and also many of the people in Africa, their perception of what they think America is like. So it's definitely a crazy story. She's absolutely correct. If this wasn't recorded and someone just tells it, most people will not believe it. But this is what some people put themselves through. Let's hear from KBM, who's a Kenyan himself, what he has to say. KBM, thank you for joining us. What do you want to add onto this story here?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the lady.
Oh, okay. So you're familiar with her.
I'm
Okay.
familiar with her story, not her personally, but
Mm-hmm.
she's been on Tuko, which is a very big Kenyan media outlet through YouTube,
Okay.
and there's a lot of stories just like hers,
Yeah,
right?
I've seen some.
So what I do want to point out is um, the country of Kenya is not a haven for sex tourism. The parts of Kenya that are is Mombasa, Intwapa, Malindi, the coastline area.
So
Okay.
is she from one of those places?
Well, according to her, she's from Eldoret, and she's either a Luo or most likely a Kalenjin, or Kali for short. Eldoret is called the land of champions, and the reason why is because most of the world's champion runners are from that particular area, and they're usually of the Kalenjin tribe. So basically, if she's from that area, as it sounded like she said towards the beginning, she's from the land of champions. I mean, there's a lot of people that have done great things out of that area besides running. The thing I want to say is that a lot of the sex tourism, how it comes about, as far as the way she was like propositioned to come to America through a human trafficking scam. There was another situation. I run a Facebook page that I've had for many, many years called Kenyans Against Sex Tourism.
Yeah.
And on that particular page, a Kenyan woman either came to me or I found her story, but is related to that page. The Kenyan media, this is quite a few years ago, probably about 7 years ago, talked about this Kenyan woman that was in America, had her correct name, but had a wrong photo, or the wrong photo and the wrong name, whatever it was. But anyway, me and her ended up talking. So what it was is that she knew about my page somehow, and she also knew about my website called mekenyans.com, where Kenyans tell their own stories before it got hacked.
Yeah, but
So
for example, this woman, right? For the sake of time, like, because it didn't come through like the sex tourism, it's through the Bible school study thing.
right,
That's how she made it to the United States. But then
right.
when she got here, she herself somehow, from pursuing her quote unquote dreams, walked herself into these situations. So that's what I'm trying to unravel. How?
Well, well, well. The story that I'm telling is going to lead into being very similar to this one.
Okay.
So this woman's friend. So I'll just cut a little more straight to it.
Okay.
This woman's friend in Mombasa was approached by an American.
This
This
very woman,
No, no, no.
the one you're
Her
talking
friend,
about.
the one I'm talking about, has nothing to do with this woman.
Okay.
Okay, so the woman I was speaking to through my Facebook was telling me about her friend. Okay, and this video of her friend went viral. Everybody was talking about it on Facebook and everywhere else. An American came to Mombasa, basically offered some opportunities. I can't remember if it was either for school or work. It was one or the two. It's going to pay for her visa and immigration.
So full
Everything was going
ride
to be sponsored.
scholarship, like they told this woman.
Well, it wasn't okay. I know it was more towards work, but he was going to help her out, right? So it's one of those things where a lot of Kenyans or Africans want to come to America because America, they hear it's the land of milk and honey. So she went for it. So to go a little bit fast, when she got to America, the guy owns a website. And what she didn't know, that when she came to America, that she didn't know in Kenya, but she found out quickly in America, is that now she's going to have to do adult videos to pay off what he invested in her to get over there. So he was
Okay.
probably going to make $40,000 to maybe $100,000 off that one video that she's going to do for him, and then he's going to kick her out on the street, and that's what he did.
Okay. So, okay, what do you want to say about her? Like this other one here.
Okay, so anyway, the owner of that website is the Ghetto Gaggers website.
Okay. Oh, so he brings Kenyan women. Okay, I see your point. Okay.
Right. So this her friend of hers was going to give me the full inside scoop of everything, like an exclusive. But when it actually came down to that interview, she decided not to do it for whatever reason.
Okay, but this other woman though, she transported herself. But I see what you're saying.
So there are people going to Africa under false pretenses of why they want to help you. You got to think to yourself, if somebody comes to you and they want to just help you, you got to think to yourself, why do they want to help you?
Well, again, this woman, for example, the seeds have already been planted in her. She is pursuing something, and the predators, they smelled it.
Right.
So, but thank you. I'm gonna bring in this other caller before we. I'll put you in the back here in a sec. Okay, give me a sec. Famajo supporter, where you calling from?
Yes, I am calling from Fargo, North Dakota.
Fargo, North Dakota, in the house. Welcome. What do you want to add on to this story that we are
Yes.
tackling here?
My brother made something wrong. He and people are suing her tribe,
Right.
due to clan grievances, and this kind of disgusted me. We don't know if she's Luau. We don't know if she's Kikuyu.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
don't worry about that. We're not.
Okay, I won't worry about
That's
that.
not the topic. Yeah,
Okay.
Forget about the chat. Just focus
Okay.
on the topic.
Okay, now I'll focus on the topic. Moving on. In Kenya, so I was reading an article by someone who actually did studies on the prostitution, like going on in Africa. The two countries with the highest rates, Kenya comes at and as number 2, while Ethiopia is number 1. And what people don't seem to understand,
Wait. You said which country is number 1?
Ethiopia, that
And
is
and which one is number 2?
Kenya.
Okay.
So white men and all kinds of, it's not just white men, but everybody goes to these countries and has their way with women there. And it's unfortunate because there's really nothing in place that the government is doing to protect their and women folk. You have these creepy white guys coming into Africa and buying for sex with them. And you know how in the country is poor, so they can take advantage of them, just like it's happening in, for example, let's say, yes, it's also happening in Brazil, Dominican
But
Republic.
for example, for
Yeah.
this woman, right?
Yes.
That's not her story.
Yes,
She is just a fish in the sea, and they threw the hook. She thought she's actually about to eat a big chunk, but she got fished out of the sea and put on the barbecue grill.
yes, that was her own fault. My parents are immigrants. They came to this country in the late 1990s. I was born here.
Where are they from?
They're from Somalia.
Somalia. Okay.
And I luckily was given an opportunity. There's no reason, I was born here, there's no reason for me to do something bad in this country. This is a huge opportunity here as immigrants. Yes.
But what if you're not even born here? You shouldn't.
Even if you're not born here, brother,
Mhm.
you should go here with a plan. What you should be doing is and having a set plan so that you can make money and then be able to go back home and invest in your country. So what she did was she really was lost in the sauce.
Mhm.
She unfortunately and met a people who didn't have her best interest.
But
And
maybe did she have her own best interest though?
no, she was very reckless. She was very reckless, and by that, she was very reckless. But one thing I want to add to this is that, look, I'm gonna be honest though. There is a tendency for these Americans to come to Africa and take advantage of the situation.
Right.
Some countries allow this to happen. The politicians just turn their head and they don't care. In my country, for example, Somalia, you can't do that. The people will kill you. Like the people will and not
Yeah,
allow.
but this woman left though. It's
Yes.
not through that. Like it's disguised as school, but you know the topic you're doing, you just touched here. I'm
Okay,
gonna
I'm
do
sorry.
more research on that as far as
Please do. Yeah, please do.
the prostitution in Africa.
Yes, it's
I'll
big.
do research on that and
I,
definitely make sure you call in so we can
yes.
have
And support
discussion
for
on that.
Majo. You know, he's getting elected soon, hopefully.
Who?
And
For, who?
Muhammad Abdullahi Farmajo,
Oh,
he's
he's running for office.
yes,
Okay.
he's already was the president. He's done a lot of good.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, the United Arab Emirates
Hmm.
and various countries are plotting to get him out because he's done a lot of good. It's Somalia has progressed. One of those countries is Kenyan. Kenyan politicians are trying to pay off politicians in order to get him out.
You know what? You sound like you know a lot about the politics there. You know, I'll communicate with you
Thank you.
via email. If you
Thank you.
check in my description section, I have my email there.
Thank you. I will.
Write to me because I'll invite you in.
In the
You know,
politics.
so
Yes,
you can give us update on what's happening in the Horn of Africa there
I
in
will. Yeah, I'm
Somalia.
very good at that. Please do one day make it about Horn of Africa politics and what's going on and why it's the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's show. Um, you guys know I've been here for how long? How long have I been here? Quite some time. I didn't even. It's like almost 4 hours, but I was making up for yesterday. Okay, I was making up for yesterday. So before I leave you guys, I hope you guys have learned something great from this show because, as you know, America is the land of opportunity, but you have to make it that. If there's anything you've learned from that woman, is to not try to walk the streets. Don't try to use your body in that way to make money. You can shovel though, but other than that, don't put yourself through that ringer. Until next time, this is the Afridamus Report. Like, share, and don't be a stranger. Thank you.
Yeah, lo need papá. Entre más lejos, más feliz. Era un veneno y lo bebí. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Siempre se la peli esa actriz, pero ya vamos llegando al fin. Yeah, yeah. Somos felices a distancia. Ya no aguanto tu frase.